I'm going to go pick up a scratch-off.
New Multiply the Cash from the North Carolina Education Lottery with a chance to win every prize doubled. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.77 to 4.71. Problem gambling helpline. 877-718-5543.
The free iHeartRadio app has over 100 original stations waiting for you to explore right now, like 24/7 comedy.
Men don't settle down. We surrender.
Women, we never express the emotions we're actually feeling, right? I'm fine means I'm about to stab you in the neck.
Clips from today's top comedians and the greatest of all time.
Donut hole. If you want a donut, have a donut. Why are you eating the hole?
When you need a laugh, just open the free iHeartRadio app and search comedy.
You can actually change the station.
iHeartRadio. Free never sounded so good.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
The pounding begins. The wagons are circled. Every wind is raidered. It's football time in America, and this republic has never been stronger. The Sportsocracy, Beer City's best sports talk, live from the Ingalls studio.
It is ESPN Asheville, and this is the Sportsocracy. Welcome into a wonderful Wednesday here in Western North Carolina. We're doing all alliteration on the program today.
No.
Jeremy loves it so much.
It drives me absolutely crazy that everything either has to rhyme or start with the same letter.
Yes. I look, I'm a creature of habit, and I like patterns. So that's why I like sports.
Just know that this is a man that has to spend a week with me many miles away from here where no one can save him.
That's right. We are ramping up to the NFL Combine coverage. We're officially official.
We're officially official. We had to give, a blood sample. I had to explain all of my views on the world. I think an FBI interrogator will be here later to ask if we have nefarious intentions.
I believe the process for getting into the media section of the NFL Combine is akin to trying to go see the President of the United States of America. I have been through that process as well, and it's quite similar. So just know these guys are pretty well protected.
No doubt.
They're not going to let just anybody through that through that turnstile.
Yeah,
so
if you think that you could get close to an NFL player, no, you can't. Not even nary a little bit.
Yeah. So it is time for us to start mocking the rankings because Jeremy is just he is the draft ranking nerd. He loves all of the scouting reports and all of that, and he, he's the guy who says who should go and who should stay, who should be taken high, who should be taken low. And so he loves to look at these rankings that other people come up with, namely one outlet in specific.
NFL.com. I'll throw it under the bus. It's fine.
To dance around it a little bit here. But no, apparently I've always thought this. When it comes to the things that fans consume, the information that we as fans consume when it comes to the draft, when it comes to fantasy football, how is it that the league's network is the worst at all of these things?
Well, it depends on where you go. So Daniel Jeremiah, I think, is really, really smart. I always thought Mike Mayock was really smart. I think Ian Rappaport is really smart. But then you get into, well, these are our we have put out the NFL.com draft tracker, which tells us your grades on every player. How many times have I told you this is the best draft I've ever seen?
It's been quite a lot.
How many Pro Bowl players do you think NFL.com has in this class?
At least 6.
I have 8, just for what it's worth. They have none.
0.
So
none of these guys. No Joe Alt, no
he's not
Fashanu.
even in the top 10.
Really?
Alt's not in the top 10. The number one player in the class is a wide receiver. Which one you think that is?
Marvin Harrison Jr.
That's incorrect.
Rome Odunze.
Also incorrect.
Then you're drunk.
I agree. I looked through this entire thing and went, how many crimes is too many crimes for you to ingest and then internet? Because I think you did a lot. And the reason that I wanted to start with this today is not to throw the NFL's flagship website under the bus. That was part of it. Although they were nice enough to let us go to the combine, so we heart you. There's a lot of different takes on what it is you're getting here.
Which always leads me to, how do we sift through the BS?
Well, that's always the most fun part. Where there's smoke, there's not always fire. How much of this is true, and who wants you to know that? And that leads me to this part. What position is always overvalued?
Quarterback?
Quarterback. This is a year that nobody fully believes in these quarterbacks, and if anybody tells you they do, they're lying to you. So I see Drake May outside the top 10, Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams both inside the top 10. Yeah, I don't know. If you're being honest with me.
So you said Drake May is outside the top 10.
He is.
But the other two are ranked
Drake's
high.
just outside the top 10. Jaden Daniels is at 6. Caleb Williams is at 3.
Which is not too out of the ordinary. I mean, we've had this year after year. You have the quarterbacks projected to go high because that is the premier position in the league. But not often do you have the guy going number one is going to be the number one prospect.
If you have Caleb Williams ahead of Marvin Harrison Jr., Brock Bowers, Joe Alt, Olaf Ashano, Leatu Latu, you're smoking crimes. There is no nicer way I can say that. Because if he was not a quarterback, you would not be saying that. Just talent for talent, there's no way you watch the film on this and go, that's where we're at. And this led me down another rabbit hole, which is the Chicago Bears basically control this offseason. We know that. It has become a very vogue topic of, well, is Caleb Williams better than Justin Fields? But you're asking yourself the wrong question. The question is not, is Justin Fields the better prospect? The question is Justin Fields plus $30-some-odd million a better prospect than Caleb Williams at $30 million for the next 4 years? Because that's the question. And honestly, I think they're 6 one way, half dozen the other. But one's way cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. But you're not getting Trevor Lawrence. You're not getting John Elway. You're not getting Andrew Luck. You're getting a guy that is sold to be that. And you have to be really, really careful with that. Let me give you an example. You remember when you were a kid? And you're, 4 years older than me? 5 years older than me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you were born in 82. I'm in 87.
Yes.
You remember when you got your first Super Nintendo?
I do.
And you thought that the graphics were just the greatest thing ever?
It's wonderful.
Super Mario Brothers.
World was
you could
awesome.
be a raccoon. You grab the tail and you start flying around and you're like, this is awesome.
No, that was on the original. Super Mario World was the one with Yoshi. That was the Super Nintendo one.
Okay.
I played a lot.
I played Super Mario.
I played way more of it when you were actually playing sports and studying box scores. I was playing Mario.
That's a good point. Yeah, I played Super Mario All-Stars, so I got them all on the same. All on the same disc.
Well, that came after.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you got the Super Nintendo, and you'd never seen anything like it. And then you got the Nintendo 64. And you remember thinking, my God, these graphics are unbelievable. Mm-hmm. Mario's in 3D.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't feel as good about any console after that, did you? Because you got 3D, and that broke your brain. And everything was good, but it always kind of left you wanting a little more. Because I remember the first time I saw a PlayStation, and you had these blocky heads, and it's good. I can at least tell who that's supposed to be, but it's not great. That's kind of the same premise that you're going to get here. We're going to talk about this ad nauseum. Is Chicago better with Justin Fields, or are they better with Caleb Williams? I can't tell you that one is better than the other. I can tell you one is cheaper than the other. But the more I've done these, and obviously our mock drafts are filtering out on the YouTube channel every single day, Every time I get to the end of a mock draft, and I've gone 4 rounds with all these teams, you know what I have in common? Every time I take a quarterback for one of these teams, I always feel bad about what I've got. I never look at it and go, crushed it, killed it.
But
you know when I do feel that way?
But don't you have to? That's where I keep coming back to this.
You don't have to do anything in this life but pay taxes and die. That's the 2 things we're all going to do.
Yeah. But I just feel like the pressure is always too great to chase after what could be. Because the fear is, what if I miss? I get that we're not looking at Scott Fitterer today as an employed man because he went, what if I miss? And he traded up to get Bryce Young, and he was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
They were wrong. Whoever, they were wrong.
Well, he was more wrong on Frank Reich, but I could write a book on the 2023 Carolina Panthers.
Right. But we'll look back.
I don't think look, let me make this perfectly clear. I don't think he missed on Bryce Young. I think 1 year from now we're going to look back on that and laugh.
Maybe. But for now, that's how this is judged. Scott Fitterer missed on Bryce Young. But also, you look at the flip side of that, Nick Caserio took the swing on C.J. Stroud, and he's a genius.
And we thought he was out of his mind.
Exactly.
And now we're talking about him as executive of the year, and the Houston Texans are in better shape than any team in the NFL.
So is Ryan Poles really going to play like Russian roulette with that decision? Is he going to go, I could have Caleb Williams, but no, I'll let him go be a star for somebody else? Because that's a possibility.
Is it, though?
It's a possibility with all these quarterbacks. We don't know. We said the same thing about C.J. Stroud last year, that he wasn't going to work. He was a bust. He was an Ohio State quarterback. I heard all of the things about why he wouldn't work in the NFL.
And he did for a year.
And he did.
Mm-hmm. It's also 1 year does not a career make.
Sure.
And where this got me going is, we're so obsessed with quarterbacks and who's going to play under center and who's going to be the face of the franchise. And it got me thinking about Chicago. Caleb Williams has a Tim Tebow quality to him in that people that love him are not rational people. And no matter what he does, it will never be his fault because he is this generational prospect. The problem is that that's not the case. And Field Yates from ESPN.com put out an article earlier today, and it was detailing what trade offers for Justin Fields would look like and what trade offers for the number 1 pick would be. And as I looked at it, I went, I like every one of those. Getting a 2nd-round pick for Justin Fields. In one case, you're getting a 3rd-rounder and a player. In another instance, you're getting a 2nd-rounder and another pick later down the line. I don't really have a problem with any of that. It's all fine because the one thing I don't want to do is pay Justin Fields. But then I started looking at what you could get for the number 1 pick. I can set my franchise up for the better part of the next half decade on a lottery ticket. Because, Tank, you can vouch for this better than anybody, and we've got a lot of people that have been watching our draft stuff since the first year we started doing it. How often do I miss on quarterbacks?
It's rare.
Don't happen very often.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm really dogmatic on a quarterback, do you remember who those quarterbacks have been?
Lamar Jackson.
Baker Mayfield.
Now,
I was really dogmatic on Sam Darnold.
C.J. Darnold. You got your hits, though.
Mm-hmm.
Allen.
Mm-hmm.
Phenomenal.
Josh Allen was my number 1 quarterback in that class.
Uh-huh.
Pat Mahomes was my number 1 quarterback in the Deshaun Watson, Mitch Trubisky class.
Yep.
I tend to miss when I don't see the talent of a player. I don't tend to miss when I look at a guy and go, you ain't hit. Because I said this about Justin Fields. And that's where I want to go with this. I feel like we're ignoring what we've already seen. Because if you look at what Chicago can get for Fields, and this is coming from a very intelligent guy, it's pennies on the dollar compared to what you can get for the number 1 pick. And I understand why. Because the number 1 pick is magic beans. But those magic beans could easily turn into a beanstalk, or they could turn into the same thing that you have with Justin Fields. But how do you protect yourself from that? How do you insulate yourself from that? How does Ryan Poles look at himself and protect himself moving down the line? Evan Doyle asked, was Joe Burrow your number one quarterback in that class? Take the layup, Jeremy. Yes, he was. By a lot. By a whole mess. And Justin Herbert was my 2, and I did not love Tua Tagovailoa. I still don't. And the more I think about it, the more I keep looking at this going, Caleb Williams is a guy that gets you fired. Justin Fields was a guy that got you fired. Oh, wait, he already did. Because Ryan Pace drafted him. Ryan Poles didn't. He got fired. Because everybody looked at Justin Fields and went, oh, he's so athletic. Oh, he's got a cannon. Oh, we're going to be great. Oh, we're going to be star-studded. Going into this year, oh, we're going to win the division. But you didn't. Because your impression of him in reality are different. And I see the same thing with Caleb Williams, but there's a way around that. There's a way you can insulate yourself from it, and you can look like a genius if I'm right. We got to take a commercial break. I'll tell you what that is after the break. But before we do that, we have our first Super Chat of the day. Yeah! It's from Curtis Davis, one of our fantastic Los Angeles Charger fans. He said, loved the mock draft yesterday. My question is, with Minter as the DC, what do you put his hand in more for Jenkins, or do you still think he'd go Sweat with 37 overall? And I'm not sure I can say that other thing. I'm not 100% sure.
Bolt up.
That one.
Yeah.
I got to ask this question a lot with Minter and four-man front. Would I still take T'Vondre Sweat? Yes, I would. Look, I'm in like with Chris Jenkins. I'm not in love. And I feel like we always do this when college coaches take over jobs, we just start shoehorning guys that they coached in school. I wouldn't hate it if T'Vondre Sweat went ahead of him. Would I hate Chris Jenkins going to the Chargers? No. I'm fine with it either way. But I also don't think T'Vondre Sweat only plays in a 3-4. I think he can do anything. Frankly, I think he could ride a unicorn on top of a rainbow and solve the dreams and solve the ills of the world.
Follow the Sportsocracy on all the social medias and subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can get all of the 4-round mock draft videos as they get churned out here. We are your Draftmas season central here in the Sportsocracy, and we'll continue up next.
Breathe easier with Zero-Res Air Duct Cleaning. It's the only company I trust to get my home insanely clean. Right now, mention ESPN Asheville and you'll get $50 off your next air duct cleaning. Use promo code AIR50 when scheduling online at ZeroResAsheville.com.
What's better than winning a prize on a Multiply the Cash scratch-off?
Hello? Well, I guess I'd say probably...
Winning every single prize. What's better than winning every single prize?
I can't think
Winning every prize times 2 with the Win-All Doubler.
Well, you don't need me here, so I'm going to go pick up a scratch-off.
New Multiply the Cash from the North Carolina Education Lottery with a chance to win every prize doubled. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.77 to 4.71. Problem gambling helpline. 877-718-5543.
Sick and tired of achy joints? Dread the idea of surgery? You need to call QC Kinetics today. Listen, the state of healthcare is always changing. The old ideas like steroids and surgery are no longer your only options. Regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics is transforming lives with innovative, non-surgical, drug-free treatments that deliver lasting results. Knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain from arthritis or injury? Don't let this pain keep you from living your best life. QC Kinetics advanced state-of-the-art treatments harness and direct your body's natural ability to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. This is a revolutionary approach that can get you long-term relief with no downtime. Make 2024 the year you reclaim your mobility, reclaim your independence. Walk and run and play and live without the danger and trauma of surgery and without harmful drugs. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. Phone 828-333-9517 in Asheville and in Greenville.
Tax Talk with Straight Talk.
You give and you give. This tax season, you get with Straight Talk Wireless. You get a reliable 5G network and unlimited data and a Samsung Galaxy A14 included when you buy an extended Silver Unlimited plan. So you can give your janky phone to your kid. Yeah!
Switch to Straight Talk for plans starting as low as $25 a line per month for 4 lines. Find us at straighttalk.com. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com. Device offer ends 4/14/24. Online only. Family plan discount with 4 lines, all on the Silver Unlimited plan. Taxes and fees apply.
A leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles Bojangles for just $5.99?
Leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99?
With a boldly seasoned leg and thigh, choice of fixin', and a biscuit, it's a deal so good it's worth repeating. But it's for a limited time only, so eat and repeat while you can. It's bow time.
Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics have teamed up under new ownership by an Asheville native to better serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics can customize whatever you, your team, business, or local group may need through high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving right here in Asheville. Free personal delivery within Buncombe County and a reduced delivery fee anywhere in Western North Carolina. Visit ShowtimeSportsAVL.com and MountainGraphicsAVL.com. Your one-stop custom apparel shops.
The Ingles 2024 Southern Conference Downtown Dribble and Kids Fest, presented by Champion Credit Union, will be held Saturday, March 9th, 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. at the Roger McGuire Greene at Pack Square Park. The Downtown Dribble will feature interactive games, inflatables, pep bands, cheerleaders, and a parade. Each participant will receive a basketball, Downtown Dribble t-shirt, and a ticket to the noon session quarterfinal basketball games. Check-in will begin at 9:30 a.m. at Roger McGuire Greene. To register, visit downtowndribble.eventbrite.com.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. And did I mention that Clarissa Sells WNC loves teachers? We love teachers so much, we're giving back 25% of our commission at closing. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
The Sportsocracy.
You are just dumber than a bag of hammers.
It is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. Welcome back into the Sportsocracy. The Chicago Bears with a big decision. Can we get a haul again? Can we fleece someone else in this draft like we did last year with the Carolina Panthers?
No doubt. Because how do you do that?
How?
You find somebody that's desperate. You know who's desperate?
The Atlanta Falcons.
That's one.
The Vegas Raiders.
I don't think they're desperate.
Okay.
I mean, they really want Jaden Daniels from everything I've heard.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think they're desperate.
Who else?
The Washington Commanders are desperate. Should they be?
Real?
No.
They're that desperate to trade up to one?
You got a new ownership group. You got the local kid that everybody in the Metroplex thinks is just Superman, that he's going to ride into formerly RFK Stadium and save the franchise, which leads to you doing something dumb.
Mm-hmm.
You know what would be dumb? It's weird. That was Field Yates' first trade package for the number one pick. They give up 2, they give up 40, they give up next year's first-round pick. For me to go down one spot, I've actually already seen this happen. I did this. If I'm the Bears, I did this. I traded up one spot.
Yes. And
Didn't
got
answer hot
Mitch
for me.
Trubisky.
Didn't answer hot for me.
Mm-mm.
I'll do it in a heartbeat. You call me with that, I'll do it in a heartbeat.
Why would Washington offer that, though?
Because do I think that, now I need to preface this, do I think they should do that? Oh, good Lord, no.
No.
Do I think they would? I look at Josh Harris and Magic Johnson and the Flash and the Glitz and this is what I do and this kid's from Washington. I could see it. I could see him doing it. No doubt I could see him doing it.
No, thank you.
You know who else I could see doing it?
I'll take my chances.
I could see New England doing it. Because since Tom left, we haven't had a face of the franchise. And I could see them giving up 3, 34, and next year's first-round pick. I'll do it in a heartbeat. Because either way, no matter what I do right there, I either end up with Drake May or Jaden Daniels. And I've already told you, I don't think there's that much of a difference between the three.
Mm-hmm.
Jaden Daniels is my number one, and him and Drake May are real, real close. I'm ending up with one of you. And I'll be just fine because I have an offensive line. I have wide receivers. And now I have capital that is just out of this world because I'll have 2 first-round picks for the second consecutive year. You have 1 and 9 this year.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you trade down there, you still have 3 and 9. I could add that quarterback and Roma Dunze, that quarterback and Leatu Latu, or whoever it is that I take at 9. Oh, and then I still have that extra second-round pick to add a little bit to the defense, add a little bit to the offensive line, maybe bring in somebody in the secondary, safety-wise. It's not a great safety class, so probably not the way I would go.
Mm-hmm.
But I just keep throwing darts at a board. And I'm going to look like an idiot if I trade Caleb Williams and he becomes a star, or I'm going to look like a genius. Because do you remember what San Francisco got in that deal? Everybody always talks about the Bears traded up one pick and San Francisco made out like a bandit. Do you remember who they got there?
Solomon Thomas.
Solomon Thomas, who's a backup defensive tackle for the New York Jets.
Mm-hmm.
San Francisco didn't get squat, but you don't remember that because Mitch Trubisky was a bum. And then San Francisco hit a lot of players. None of them had a damn thing to do with that deal. But everybody remembers San Francisco as being geniuses because they didn't get duped on Mitch Trubisky. Meanwhile, they didn't need to get duped on Mitch Trubisky.
No, they got duped on Solomon Thomas.
Correct. And that's just where I come to.
Yeah. I don't see the need for Washington or New England. To me, it makes more sense for somebody outside of the top 3 to move up. Atlanta makes all the sense in the world.
Oh, no,
that's a group that should be giving up future capital
and now
to get that quarterback.
That's a team that's super desperate. What do you think that deal looks like?
I would say it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 8.
Correct.
Next year's 1.
Correct.
And 2 2s.
Oh, you forgot one. It's 2026's first-round pick, too. So I get 8. Your first and second-round pick next year, your first and second-round pick the year after that. I would almost have to try to screw that up. For you to come in and get Caleb Williams.
Have at it.
And at 8, guess what? If I do that, I probably have to stick with Justin Fields. But do you realize how much I can put around him that way?
Mm-hmm.
Because almost invariably, I'm either going to get Malik Neighbors or I'm going to get Roma Dunze. Put him on the opposite side of DJ Moore. Oh, and I could still add toys the next 2 years. I can maneuver this draft board masterfully. And if I'm Ryan Poles, I don't have to be great next year. I need to make the playoffs. But I'm in a division with the Lions and the Packers, who appear to have done it again with Jordan Love. If I can just sneak into the playoffs and I've got 2 years of double first-round picks still coming, I got all the latitude in the world because you'll be super patient with me. But what if Caleb Williams turns into a star? What if he does? Does that mean he would have done it with me? No. Because Jay Cutler was a star with the Denver Broncos. Was he a star with the Bears? No, we made memes of him with a cigarette in his mouth and called him Smoking Jay Cutler.
Uh-huh.
You have the world by the tail here. The one mistake you can make is Caleb Williams.
It's taking the quarterback.
I would rather you keep Justin Fields and just roll that way and get the capital from Atlanta to build this team out. And I don't believe in Justin Fields at all. But it's so funny to me that the number one comp of Caleb Williams, for me, is Justin Fields. If I hear one more person say Pat Mahomes, I'm going to pour flour in my hand and I'm going to antique you right on the cheek. Because that is the dumbest thing I think I've ever heard somebody say out loud.
Antique you?
You know what antique it is.
No.
It's where you wait for somebody to fall asleep, you got a handful of flour, and just boop! Right and then flour goes everywhere, and they look like an antique doll.
I'd never heard that before. Interesting.
Of course you haven't.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's those weird drunken frat games that I never played.
Yeah. You don't strike me as the guy that would do those things.
No. Not so much. I'm usually the guy that passes out and ends up with marker on my forehead.
Correct.
Just
most of the parties,
little difference between the two sides of the table here in the sportsocracy.
No doubt.
We go at all angles here.
Tank, in most of the parties I went to, you'd have had a little talking hot dog on your forehead. I'm just throwing that out there.
More than likely. And it wouldn't have been the first time. It is the sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. And look, I feel like the Chicago Bears, I don't know that they're going to get the big deal for the number 1 pick. I don't know that anybody's jumping at that chance.
No doubt. No doubt they are. No doubt they are. Because look at it from the owner's perspective. Caleb Williams has been the ordained number one pick for 3 solid years. And I get to put this kid on billboards and forefront, and it fixes all of my ills. Think about Washington. Who's the face of that franchise right now? Terry McLaurin.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the face of the New England Patriots franchise right now?
Matthew Judon.
Devontae Parker.
Ramondre Stevenson. I keep coming back to
Ezekiel
he's the only
Elliott.
talent. He's the only talent on that offense.
Desperate teams do desperate things.
Maybe so. I feel like everybody would be okay to sit where they're at, maybe get a quarterback. And if New England doesn't like their chances, then they go with a wide receiver and move on.
I think New England's the most interesting one to me because, like I said when we started this, every time I do a mock draft, I always walk away from it going, man, when I take a quarterback, I hate what I end up with. Every single time. And it doesn't matter who the quarterback is.
Mm-hmm.
Chicago, I take Caleb Williams at 1. I had him taking Rome Odunze, but the further down this rabbit hole we get, I mean, we're going to see Odunze run next week. If he runs sub 4.5, guess what? You're not getting him at 9. No shot. So then what do you do? What am I going to put around Caleb Williams?
Mm-hmm.
I don't need an offensive lineman. It's not that I'm set there. It's just not something I'm doing at 9. So I get Dallas Turner. Awesome. Doesn't really do much for me. But as soon as I move down and I open up this whole bevy of options, I can get that receiver. I can give that to Justin Fields, and I don't have to pay him. And something you said is what made me think about this. The franchise tag is a beautiful thing.
Yes.
Because I don't think anybody's ever franchised a quarterback and gone, man, I wish I hadn't done that. You know when they do feel like, oopsie poopsie, when you give them that 4-year deal at $40+ million a year.
Mm-hmm.
I got 4 years of team control with Justin Fields left because he's still on a cheap deal this year. I can kick in the team option next year, and then I could franchise him twice if I needed to. But what I could also do is take all this draft capital and then go get the quarterback that I actually want, not the one that I'm sitting here going, you know, we could do this, but this feels awful similar to what we're trading away. And Justin Fields could go to Pittsburgh and be a superstar, and I look like an idiot. Or I could take Caleb Williams. Justin Fields is serviceable, and Caleb Williams cries week 1, and I look like an idiot. You see where I'm headed with this?
No doubt.
I feel like the quarterback is the trap. I said this months ago as just an offhand comment, and the further down this rabbit hole we've gone, the more I feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
If you take a quarterback here because you absolutely have to, and you're ignoring the fact, unlike NFL.com, that none of these guys really belong in the top 10. None of them. They all have warts. They all have huge red flags that would scare me to death. You know who doesn't? Marvin Harrison. You know who else doesn't? Jared Verse.
Mm-hmm.
You know who else doesn't? Malik Neighbors. You know who else doesn't? Joe Alt. You know who else doesn't? Olaf Ashana. I could do this for a minute. But, God, we got to get the quarterback. The quarterback's all that matters. Are you sure? Because I'm not so sure.
There's lots of pressure when you've never had one. And the Bears have never had one. That's their problem. You still have that fan that's chasing after the next best thing. Justin Fields was that for you 3 years ago. Are you ready to bail on that? Or are you going to keep him around for a little while and continue to build around him? I'm glad I'm not paid to make that call.
Who is Abby Lee Miller?
I'm not sure.
I don't know who that is either, and I'm not sure I care because this is really funny. Notorious B.I.G. said Caleb Williams is closer to Abby Lee Miller than Patrick Mahomes. They both cry in their mother's arms.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have to search that and hope that wasn't real falafeled up.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Temperatures will trend warmer into Thursday, then cooler behind your front end of the start of the weekend. Today, they'll high near 60 with sunshine and a light breeze in from the south and southeast. Overnight, it will be partly cloudy as the low drops into the mid-30s. Tomorrow, clouds will increase with gusty winds at times out of the south at a high of 64. Rain moves in tomorrow night ahead of a front with a low in the mid-40s. That shower activity will taper off towards the afternoon on Friday with a high close to 56. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by
Bojangles. It's always bow time.
eBay Motors is here for the ride with the parts you need for the prices you want. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, it's guaranteed to fit your ride the first time, every time, or your money back. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The patented key ingredient is something called Testofen, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text TAP to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text TAP to 321-321. That's TAP to 321-321.
The free iHeartRadio app has over 100 original stations like 24/7 Comedy.
If they were really donut holes, the bag would be empty.
When you need to laugh, just open the free iHeartRadio app and search Comedy.
Should we call someone? I'm like, no, that's his face.
iHeartRadio. Free never sounded so good.
Robert Half research indicates 9 out of 10 hiring managers are having difficulty hiring. Robert Half is here to help. Their recruiting professionals use proprietary AI to connect businesses with highly skilled talent. At Robert Half, they know talent. Visit roberthalf.com today.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch. We're back counting down to kickoff. Let's look at today's 3 keys to premium pre-gaming with Beast Unleashed, presented by Monster Brewing. Number 1, beat the heat.
Unleash the beast with bold, familiar flavors, 0 caffeine, and 0 sugar.
Number 2, running the option.
There's 4 to choose from: White Haze, Peach Perfect, Scary Berries, and my personal favorite, Mean Green.
And number 3, at 6% ABV, Max Protect.
Always drink responsibly, and you must be 21 or over.
Beast Unleashed, available at your local retailer.
At Ingles Weather, we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park. It's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
It is ESPN Asheville. This is the Sportsocracy. I'm completely consumed by the solar eclipse that's coming on April the 8th. We have new news.
Oh, what did the sun sprout a new sun?
We have new news. It's actually going to cause problems in the city of Cleveland for the home opener for the Cleveland Guardians. They're scheduled to take the field at 4 o'clock. Problem is, it's going to be night time at 4 o'clock. On April the 8th, because they are in the path of totality. So now they have decided that we're going to have to move opening day by an hour because of the solar eclipse that will black out the sun. And mainly, it's because Cleveland is so damn cheap, they don't want to have to turn on the lights twice.
I mean, it is expensive. What is that totality thing you keep saying?
It's the path of totality.
You sound, every time you use that phrase, you sound like Al Gore.
Really?
Like you're telling me some made-up crap that I've never heard of. The path of totality. Lockbox.
You've never heard that before?
No, I have not. Mm-hmm. Sounds like something Lex Luthor would tell Superman. You're in the path of totality.
Now, there's a path across the United States where it's going to get completely dark in the middle of the day, because the moon will block out the sun. And it gets dark from all horizons. That's the coolest part to me. As far as the eye can see, you can barely see some silver lining on the edge, but it's the middle of the day and the sun blacks out. That's That's a pretty cool thing.
Back satisfied Browns fan did not love your dig at Cleveland.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Said, watch your mouth, Master Uguay.
Well, I mean,
I don't know what
prove
that
me
means.
wrong. Cleveland sports franchises don't seem like they penny pinch to you. I mean, unless they're the Cleveland Browns swinging for the fences for a quarterback that, well, it's got a checkered past. Just a tad. Am I digging too deep here for you, or
Hey.
I'm sorry.
Hey, it's you this time. So Patrick Holt said Mr. Burns already did this. He blocked out the sun.
That he did.
Simpsons did it.
He could do anything.
My story's about Antonio Pierce and how his Raiders will be channeling the bad boy Pistons when they play Pat Mahomes, as long as he is the Vegas Raiders head coach. He went on Max Crosby's The Rush podcast. Can we stop with everybody having a podcast? And yes, I do understand that there's a pot kettle there. I get it.
100%.
There are some people that just maybe you shouldn't. I mean, Max Crosby, it's fine. I'm sure you're fine.
I was going to say, have you listened to the Rush podcast? It might be good.
Well,
Micah's kind of funny on his podcast.
Yeah, the day we had the Dwayne Wade podcast, that's when I went, maybe we shouldn't give everyone one. Maybe we should say no every once in a while.
Look, all voices need to be heard.
Anyway, Pierce was asked about their 20-14 Christmas Day upset in Kansas City. And basically what he told Max Crosby is that in the week before the game, they were supposed to hate the color red. He showed them videos of famous boxing and MMA fights and showed them how the Detroit Pistons approached playing Michael Jordan in the late 80s. Do you remember the Jordan rules? Were you into basketball enough to really remember that?
I don't remember.
Basically, the bad boy Pistons looked at Michael Jordan and went, we are going to falafel you up anytime you come near this basket.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to throw elbows.
Mm-hmm.
I think they threw some punches. Michael Jordan came out of every game with the Pistons and looked like he had been in a bar fight.
Oh, yeah. Bill Laimbeer. He was a useful piece. So, is that it?
Well,
is that the sum of the story?
How long is it going to take before somebody draws the Greg Williams comparison? Oh, we got bounties out on Pat Mahomes because I know it's coming.
Yeah.
I read this and I went, God have mercy on your soul if you actually hurt him. If you come in next year, hit him late, and he gets hurt, they will literally eviscerate every one of you.
Yeah. They'll throw the book at you.
Am I the only one that feels like some of these guys should look at podcasts and just go, I think I'm good? I don't think I'm going to say something that could be used against me at a later date.
I think it's one of the best things that could happen to the league. I mean, if you're looking
at
a
bad boy?
No, I mean, if you're having all these podcasts, because now I have all of this new information coming from all different sources that I never had before. I've got Max Crosby out here talking about what goes on in the locker room. I've got, Micah Parsons giving his real thoughts on what's in and what. I think it's a good thing for the league, because what if something does happen? Then I can go back on that and go, you said on your podcast. From an administrative standpoint, from a CYA standpoint, it could be a good thing for the league.
I mean,
it's not bad for me. It's bad for the players, not bad for me.
Anytime we talk about podcasts this long, I feel the urge to make that Keith Morrison reference again. On his podcast, was she a little old woman or was she guilty of murder? Love that guy. I want him to narrate my life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Would you like a Big Mac or a double cheeseburger?
So that's your new pick. It's no longer James Spader.
James Spader is good, but I love that Keith Morrison, everything's a question. Would you like a domestic light or 2 fireballs?
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. We'll take a break. When we come back from the break, it'll be time to fix the New York Giants.
The New York Football Giants.
Whoa, I feel like this is a tough task.
It may be an impossible task.
Could be. It's going to be a big year, big decision year for Brian Daboll and company. And we'll talk about it up next here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400.
This is Carolina basketball.
2-on-1. Baycott finishes the transition hammer. R.J. Davis, he's going to try a quick three. Yes, from the right sideline.
On the Tar Heels Sports Network.
Ends up to Baycott, and he gets the run out. Two-handed flush. Carolina, it's Davis. He's fouled, and give him it.
This is your radio home for the Tar Heels.
Asheville's home for the Tar Heels is ESPN Asheville.
Hey, it's Mark Starling from First News on 570, and I've been telling you for years how great Summit Dental is with Dr. Chad Reinhardt. Look, you don't have to take it from me. Check out these 5-star reviews on Google. Summit Dental is amazing. They're so friendly and welcoming when you arrive. They have comfort options that you can request at no extra charge, like a warm lavender-infused neck wrap, pillows, blankets, sunglasses, and warm and cold drinks. I've never had this at any previous dental offices. We've changed our whole family over to Summit. Check out Summit Dental in Asheville with Dr. Chad Reinhardt, home of the comfort menu.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it. When you're rolling Charmin Ultra Soft on the potty, less is more, so roll it back, everybody. Charmin's irresistibly soft and hella nice. My grip is always soft. It's our potty vibe. It's cushioning things so our cheeks feel flat. So worth it. Everybody wanna touch the sky. Charmin Ultra Soft is irresistibly soft and more absorbent, so you can use less. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
Hi, I'm Chad Greenway. After retiring from the NFL, I've embraced my new role coaching my kids in their youth sports. Our Youth Basketball Association made the decision to use trusted coaches to train, screen, and educate all of our basketball coaches. Visit trustedcoaches.org to learn more. I'm a trusted coach. Are you?
Pick up your phone and put in GiveMeTheVin.com. Highest money, quickest offer, $2,000 to $200,000. Top car buyer in the United States is GiveMeTheVin.com.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics have teamed up under new ownership by an Asheville native to better serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics can customize whatever you, your team, business, or local group may need through high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving right here in Asheville. Free personal delivery within Buncombe County and a reduced delivery fee anywhere in Western North Carolina. Visit ShowtimeSportsAVL.com and MountainGraphicsAVL.com. Your one-stop custom apparel shops.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at ClarissaSellsWNC.com. Download our free app on Google Play or the App Store. Type in Asheville Home Search. You'll be able to connect with our team and see all the available homes for sale in our area. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or ClarissaSellsWNC@gmail.com.
The best season of the year is here.
Tailgate season.
Monster Brewing presents this season's MVP.
The Beast Unleashed.
With 4 bold, familiar flavors.
With 0 caffeine and 0 sugar.
Beast Unleashed is your new pregame ritual.
With white haze, mean green, peach perfect, and scary berries, there's a flavor for every fan. The Beast Unleashed.
6% alcohol by volume. Unleashed responsibly. Must be 21 or over. Beast Unleashed available at your local retailer.
The Sportsocracy.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
Back at the Sportsocracy, this is ESPN Asheville. It's time to fix another NFL franchise. Upcoming year, how do you turn around the cesspool that was the New York Giants this past year? You had coaches fighting amongst each other. You had the quarterback that you overpaid got hurt. Daniel Jones with the torn ACL. What a wasted contract that was. Ugh. Now you've invited more offseason turmoil possibly with your actual franchise player, who is Saquon Barkley. It's not a great scenario for Brian Daboll and Joe Shane to be in.
Right? Oh, yeah, because not only you pointed this out, but you didn't really, because you got to get Saquon done. Oh, yeah, and you only have $20 million. Oh, and getting more money is going to be kind of difficult because you've kicked so many cans down the road. You could restructure Daniel Jones. The only problem is that means you can't get out of that deal in a year. You can restructure Andrew Thomas. You can restructure Dexter Lawrence. But is that actually helping you? Is there anything that you're going to do here that makes this team really competitive?
No.
I agree.
No, because you're staring up at your division.
Well, I mean, you're staring up at the Eagles. You're staring up at the Cowboys. You and the Commanders are in.
I was going to say
you're in the poop tier.
You're close to staring up at the Commanders.
Well, because they have a lot of draft capital, they have a lot of money.
Exactly,
something that you don't have.
Mm-mm.
Now the Giants have a good amount of draft capital. They got 2 second-round picks.
Mm-hmm.
Second one from that Leonard Williams deal. I mean, am I the only one looking at this going, I'm just taking the best player available. I'm trying to get the talent level up here, and I'm going to address that quarterback in a year? Now, if one of the quarterbacks fell to 6, okay, now we would have a discussion to have. But even if that happened, would you take them?
Is that too high for J.J. McCarthy?
Yes. It is for me. Look, I don't love the fact he's being talked about in the top 15. So you take him at 6 over Roma Dunze,
we gonna talk.
You are opening yourself up for dumb talk.
Am I a trade down candidate? Can I trade back and possibly get more capital?
Well, the problem
and
with
still
trading,
draft that quarterback.
The problem with trading back is that that's what everybody wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, name me the team in the top 10. We talked about Justin Fields in Chicago in the first hour. They traded twice. And I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. But they control everything. They have the second most attractive quarterback on the market, and they have the number 1 pick. With the Giants, you're getting what's there.
Mm-hmm.
Am I telling you it couldn't happen? No. If Jaden Daniels somehow fell to 6, the Raiders would be blowing your phone up. And that could be the best thing you could do, is have the draft capital for a year from now, because I don't like the idea of putting Jaden Daniels behind this line with this receiving corps, where I'm looking at injury-prone Darren Waller. I'm looking at little tiny Wan'Dale Robinson, who I like, don't get me wrong, but then it gets into Sterling Shepard and Darius Slayton and Jalen Hyatt, and am I going to have Saquon or not? Brian Daboll has to have the angina on a daily basis, because he has to be looking around going, am I in a zero-sum game here? Is there a win in this for me? I set the expectation too high that first year because I made Daniel Jones look way better than he is.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any way I bring that back out of him? Because without that, you're dead in the water.
You hope you can. You hope that this is a Geno Smith type situation where you can get one good year out of him until you can get out of the deal. Because I don't think there's a path to Daniel Jones being great enough for them to kick in further time on this. Say they get Roma Dunze at 6.
Which I think is the most likely.
That provides some kind of pop for this offense. Daniel Jones is able to be, I'm not going to say Geno Smith of last year or Baker Mayfield of this past year. But if he's close, does that earn him anything? Does that earn him another year?
Well, I mean, here's the problem. He's been an average to below average NFL quarterback 4 of his 5 years. He had the one good year, but even in that good year, and I feel like this revisionist history. How many yards did he throw for in 22? Best year he's ever had.
32?
That's exactly right.
Okay.
32.05. 15 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Is that guy winning you anything? Really? That's your high water mark. It's just not that good. It's not $47 million. That's for damn sure. And so you've got this albatross hanging around your neck, and I just feel like it really limits what you can do. Even if you do good things. Let's say he has another year like that. What does that yield? Best case scenario. Team that has practically no money. Not really going to be a big free agency player no matter what they do. You add a slew of rookies. You've got a new defensive coordinator and the same old offense. What's the best that could be?
7-10.
I would have said 9-8 and you sneak in the playoffs because I think the NFC's that bad.
Okay.
But even then, is that enough to save Brian Daboll? All right, so he gets another year. Are you going to feel great a year from now? The New York Giants, to me, are in the worst position you can possibly be in. because you have become the blind man that's been put in the round room and told to pee in the corner. But there's not a corner. Yeah, we know.
Yeah.
That was the point.
Your best case scenario is sneak into the playoffs and get one more year. If you're Brian Daboll.
Mm-hmm.
One more disaster, and we're making changes because this is New York.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Jones, for better or worse, it's not or worse. It's worse. There is no better.
The worse is
you
worse.
have tied yourself to him.
Mm-hmm.
We warned you not to, but you did it anyway. So, peace out.
All right.
What else can you salvage?
I'm going to give you a couple players. You tell me, and you would save enough to justify it. You tell me if this is a guy that can be a benchmark piece on a playoff team.
Mm-hmm.
Not even a championship team, a playoff team. Darren Waller at $14 million.
No.
You can save 11.6 by cutting him.
Do it now.
Done. I agree with you. Darius Slayton at $8 million. Save 6.2 by cutting him. Outright.
Do it.
That one's a little closer, but I tend to agree with you. Mark Glowinski. Older guard.
I think I'm doing that.
I'm doing it too because I'm planning on taking that tackle at some point, and I'm going to slide Evan Neal into guard.
Mm-hmm.
Then at least I can look at this and go, I've got an edge rusher in Thibodeau. I've got the line that's getting better because I've got Schmitz and Neal and whoever the rookie is and Andrew Thomas. And now I'm at least building a team that whoever the next quarterback is, I'm putting you in a position that you can succeed. I'm not saying that you will. There are no sure things in this league. A year from now, they could be picking in the top 10, and we could be talking about Quinn Ewers and I'm trying to think, Shedeur Sanders, and none of those guys may be. This may be the better of the two quarterback classes, and I don't think this one's all that great in the first place. There's no guarantee. But how do you put yourself in the best position to succeed? And that's what I'm doing if I'm the Giants. If I'm Daboll, if I'm Shane, I may need some assurances from the ownership. But this is also a team that hasn't been quick on the trigger. They're the opposite of David Tepper.
So what, did we just save them $20 million at least in those moves?
Actually, a little more than about 23.
There you go.
It's almost a 24.
So that puts you up to $45 million to use in free agency?
Math is hard. You're in that 43 range.
Yeah. It's roundabout.
Yeah,
give or take.
43, 55, 79.
What's $1 million to $1 billion teams?
Oh, it's a mess. You got there's two whole messes, one whole mess, half a mess, no mess.
Hey, I threw the dart, it hit the board. I feel okay about that.
On a 6.
I just don't see look, you can make moves here, but you're just treading water. If you're the New York Giants, there's nothing that I think this team can do to capture lightning in a bottle and end up threatening for the division or making a giant run in the playoffs. What you're doing is you're trying to make the best of a bad situation.
What is the best thing that could happen to the Giants this year? And I'm looking specifically to the draft.
The best thing that could happen for them, they draft Roma Dunze in the first round at 6. They have a second-round pick?
They have 2.
They have 2 second-round picks. They pick at 6?
Yes, and then 16. So 40, I think it's 48 and 30, 38 and 48 or something like that.
Mm-hmm. So maybe one of the quarterbacks falls, and I get a chance to either trade up back into the first round.
Nix.
Exactly. Nick, I'm looking at McCarthy, which I doubt he's going to get out of the top 15.
He won't.
But if you were – Bo Nix would be an upgrade. Michael Penix would be an upgrade. And I feel like they both
agree
could.
with you, but Nix, I really don't.
Yeah. I don't know.
For me,
Nix may be more of the same.
That's where I'm at.
You're getting Daniel Jones 2.0 that's just a little bit faster than that last internet that you had.
I was about to say he's not faster than Daniel Jones.
No. I'm saying I'm making the comparison here to this is like 1990s net 0.15. The new disc just came in and we went, yeah, it's a little better.
So you went 28K to 56K.
Yes.
To me, best case scenario, you take Joe Alt at 6. You put him on the left side. You put Andrew Thomas on the right side, back to his natural position. Slide Evan Neal into guard. You get a receiver there in the second round. You add. I love Adrian Cooper. I think the fit there is phenomenal. But even if it's not him, I'm going to add somebody in the front seven with that second round pick, and then I'll worry about quarterback in a year. I wouldn't be averse to bringing back Tyrod Taylor. I think Tyrod Taylor is the best quarterback that could start for this team 1 year from now. I think you will win more games with Tyrod Taylor than you will with Bo Nix, Michael Penix, J.J. McCarthy, Daniel Jones.
Okay.
So if you're trying to keep your job, that's how I would do it.
I think I would go after the guy who's going to take over for Daniel Jones when I'm out of that deal next year.
And I don't think you have access to that guy.
All right. You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Temperatures will trend warmer into Thursday, then cooler behind your front end of the start of the weekend. Today, they'll high near 60 with sunshine and a light breeze in from the south and southeast. Overnight, it will be partly cloudy as the low drops into the mid-30s. Tomorrow, clouds will increase with gusty winds at times out of the south at a high of 64. Rain moves in tomorrow night ahead of a front with a low in the mid-40s. That shower activity will taper off towards the afternoon on Friday with a high close to 56. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel.
It's the moment you dream of.
Studios. This is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
The Sportsocracy.
It fires me up, man. I love it. Say it one more time.
The Sportsocracy.
Shake it back!
Beer City's best sports talk.
It is gross.
Just earlier.
They are mature, actually. You just have to get to know them better.
Your lunchtime dose of dumbassery. Live from the Ingalls studio.
And welcome back into the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400, and the Sportsocracy. Seen everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel so you can join us in the chat. It is franchise tag time in the NFL. The window, it opened yesterday. It runs through March the 5th. And this is when the teams get to pick who they're gonna keep for the average of the top 5 salary at their position. That's how this goes. There are different tags. Are we in danger of anybody having like the transition tag and all of that used?
There are a few.
Do we need to explain it? Is my question.
I mean, if you want to.
I mean, I'm gonna. Okay. Would you like to explain it? Because I don't care enough to understand it.
Okay, so you have the non-exclusive franchise tag, which is basically what any player here is going to get. The exclusive franchise tag is what we got with Lamar Jackson. So that's a lot more compensation. The exclusive basically means you're coming back. Non-exclusive means that a team could negotiate with you. It's just going to cost a lot. So then you get into the transition tag, which you get into original draft compensation, right of first refusal. There are a few guys that I could see getting the transition tag. We haven't gotten a lot of those in the last few years. That's almost become a thing of the past. So I'm not going to say it can't happen. There are a few, and we'll talk about them as we go.
Yes.
There's one specifically that I'm thinking of that plays for one of our two teams. That would make a lot of sense on the transition tag.
Okay. All right. And like you said, we'll let you know when we get there. There are obvious choices for getting the franchise tag. There are some teams that have tough calls to make.
So let's start with the no-doubters.
The no-doubters?
The
okay.
no-doubters.
The no-doubters.
So you give me the list of no-doubters you have, I will tell you. If I hear one that doesn't strike my fancy, I'll let you know.
Okay. The Carolina Panthers with Brian Burns. To me, that's a no-doubter because you got to have something. You have to be able to keep him in and trade him for something if you don't plan on getting the long-term deal done.
The tag and trade to me feels really likely. because Carolina doesn't have a first-round pick.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep looking at the Rams. You know, there's a rumor that Carolina turned down 2 1s and a 3. I never have believed that. I mean, if you did turn that down, you're morons. Because there is no player, especially not a situational pass rusher like this, that is worth that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you turned that down knowing you had to pay the guy, you kind of deserve what you're getting here. I think if the Rams came along and said, we'll give you our first-round pick, we'll give you a conditional third-round pick a year from now, Carolina would go, away you go.
Yes. Done deal. But you have to use the tag on him.
And it's $23 million?
Yes.
I believe is the number that I saw.
And the negotiation was that, or the report that we had yesterday was that the negotiations stopped at he wants 30. And
Which
the Panthers
is
were nowhere close.
The only thing is you do have to look at he's seen as a linebacker, which causes his number to be a little higher because defensive ends, the tag is shorter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's getting $30 million. Never have, probably never will. But if I'm Carolina, I can't let you walk for nothing. I just don't have enough players.
Yeah.
There's not enough talent on this roster for me to sit back and wait for a third-round comp pick a year from now.
He thinks he's a part of the elite class of edge rushers in the NFL. And I would say
Do you agree with that?
I'd say he's at the bottom of that tier. He's like the second tier, almost elite, like the top of the second tier.
Okay, so I'm gonna say a phrase, and you tell me the number that belongs in it. Okay. Brian Burns is a top blank edge rusher in this league.
8.
I would have said 12.
Okay.
So you're a little higher than me, but not much.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to agree.
So not quite worth 30.
No.
Maybe,
I mean, and he's 25 years old.
Maybe 28.
He's 25 years old. He's got scheme flexibility. I think somebody will come off the first round.
Yes. Okay.
Especially with there only being a couple. I look at this draft and go, Jared Verse, Dallas Turner, Leatu Latu. That's the only edge rushers that go in the first day.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really see a possibility for another one. That helps Carolina in the negotiation.
I don't think you're going to get far in the negotiation. I could be wrong. But the main question is Dan Morgan an idiot?
And I would say no.
No, he's not an idiot. They'll use the franchise tag, and we'll see where it goes from there. The other no-doubter, to me, after reassessing and noticing that they had a boatload of money, it's the Cincinnati Bengals and T. Higgins.
Yes, I would say T. Higgins is a no-doubter.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine you're going to let him get on the open market solely because the beauty of Cincinnati is we have all these weapons. We have Joe Burrow. The defense is good, not great, and this is how we think we're in a Super Bowl window.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not letting that guy get out of town.
No, because I can afford it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and the tag is only 20 million. 20.6. Sorry, I said that in a weird way. And that's fine for me.
Mm-hmm.
His market value is higher than that.
Tampa Bay.
Antoine
Winfield. End of discussion. I heard I'm starting to back off on Adam Schefter. Like I feel like he's getting bad information from somebody, or he just floats these ridiculous things to play the game of I need the likes.
Okay, so what did you hear here?
He said yesterday that it's not out of the discussion to think that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers would franchise tag Baker Mayfield for $36 million.
No shot.
Not a chance. And do what with Antoine Winfield?
Well, unless you get a long-term deal done with Winfield. And then it makes sense because you bring him back at that one-year deal. You've only got the 1 year. You didn't have to stack up the years. And if he comes in under somebody not named Dave Canales and looks like Baker Mayfield, then you're not stuck with
There was no qualifier there. It was just an either-or choice. And it was, they might go to Baker Mayfield instead of. No, they wouldn't.
Antoine Winfield is not getting out of Tampa Bay.
No chance.
And I feel very sure of that.
And then I don't know if it's a no-doubter, but the Chicago Bears and Jalen Johnson, I would almost feel like that's a no-doubter. I would keep him if it were me.
So Ryan Poles has said he's, quote, not going anywhere, and there has been optimism that they could get a deal done.
Mm-hmm.
If the deal's not done by March 5th, I would say they slap the tag on him at 21 and some change.
Yes.
You're just not.
What I'm looking at says 18.8.
18. Okay.
I'm all in.
For some reason, I had 21 million. I don't know why that was. Oh, he's wanting. That's what he's wanting in a long-term deal. 18.8 would be the franchise tag.
Give him what he wants.
I don't know that I'm going to do that. He was really good last year.
I was going to say you wouldn't be in at 21. That seems reasonable to me.
Well, you got to be careful. That is this 1 year wonder. Is this a guy that cashes in on the 1 year? Because he had been good, not great before last year.
Yes.
Then Chicago started floating that they were going to trade him. Nobody was okay with it. I mean, this is a guy that couldn't get a third-round pick last year.
Mm-hmm.
So I won't say it's a no-doubter. But if I'm Chicago, he's staying in the fold one way or the other. If I can't get the long-term deal done, then I will franchise tag him and just deal with it.
Yeah. The only other no-doubter situation is in Kansas City, but I still don't know which one's the no-doubter. It's one of the two of L'Jarius Sneed and Chris Jones. Whoever you feel like you can negotiate easier with and get to that number with, then you franchise tag the other one.
It's L'Jarius Sneed for me. It's not close. He's $18 million. Chris Jones would be 32.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, look, I don't want to let Chris Jones out of the building. There comes a time where I may not have a choice. And if one of these guys is getting out of the building, it will be Chris Jones, not L'Jarius Sneed.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's $14 million more expensive, and I think that's on the low side.
If I'm okay with paying Jalen Johnson $21 million,
then I'm fine playing 18 to L'Jarius.
I was going to say, but how much do you think I'd be okay paying L'Jarius Sneed? To me, there wouldn't be much of a negotiation here. I'd pretty much give him what he wants. Because I don't think, unless he's coming at me with record-setting kind of figures.
Now, this is what I would do.
I don't see that. I've not heard that reported that that's what he wants.
Well, this is what I would do, but I can't say that this is a no-doubter. I could see a path that Kansas City doesn't put a tag on either one of them. I mean, you've drafted 4 cornerbacks in 2 years, so you've stocked the cupboard pretty deep here with the intent, it appears from the outside looking in, to not have to overpay L'Jarius Sneed if you don't have to. And he's going to get a bag.
Yes.
This cornerback class is not great. It's Kenyon Mitchell and a whole mess of question marks.
As top-heavy as things are already with the Chiefs, how much worse does this get if you add L'Jarius to the mix? Because you'd have Patrick making his $500 million. You'd have Travis Kelce with his number, wherever that's at.
Well, that's the way Kansas City's going to be for the foreseeable future.
Mm-hmm.
This is the reason they make so many moves in the draft. This is the reason they have so many draft picks every year, is because they're stacking the bottom of that roster with cheap talent, team-controlled talent, and like I said, I can't tell you definitively that they're going to franchise L'Jarius Sneed. I can tell you almost definitively they're not going to do it to Chris Jones.
Mm-hmm.
The big question mark is, do you get a deal done with either one going in?
Last one, Jacksonville.
Josh Allen,
no doubt.
No doubt. If you don't do it, there will be a feeding frenzy on him.
Mm-hmm.
For the same thing that I said earlier about Brian Burns. There just aren't great pass rushers that are going to hit the market like this.
Well, they're at $23 million is the number for edge rushers.
It's fine. If they get a long-term deal done with him, I would say it's going to be more expensive than that.
Mm-hmm.
Last 3 years, do you know where Josh Allen ranks in pass rusher statistics?
What, like win rate?
So, in terms of pressures, he's 6th.
That makes sense.
In the league over the last 3 years. He's tied for 10th in sacks. Oh, and by the way, he's still real young.
Yeah.
He's 26 years old right now.
I struggle the most on the defensive side of the ball, and I don't think I'm ready to get rid of my chief pass rusher.
No. There's just not a great way to replace him. And so I look at that one as a no-doubter. Is that your last no-doubter?
Yeah.
Because there's one I feel like you're leaving out.
Okay.
And you leave it out every time we do this.
Is it Baltimore?
No. I don't think that's a no-doubter at all. And in the next segment, we'll talk about we could.
How about Indianapolis?
Nope.
No? Which one?
Miami. Christian Wilkins.
Yes.
He ain't getting out of this building.
Mm-hmm.
Miami is hemorrhaged against the cap. They're $51 million over the cap right now. They also have a lot of movable deals that would allow them to restructure contracts. You're probably not going to be able to do anything else. This is long where I thought Miami's build is. You've done this in a way that you really painted yourself in a corner because you can't do much to make this roster better. But you also can't lose Christian Wilkins because what are you going to replace him with? We'll go take one at 21. Okay, do you want to tell me who that guy is? Because I can't wait to hear it.
Who would
I'm
that
just
be?
with bated breath waiting to hear that.
Give me a name, Mr. Flostradamus.
That's the only one I can think of. And
Byron Murphy.
That's just a different prospect.
Mm-hmm.
He's not Christian Wilkins. And look, I understand Christian Wilkins was better this year than he's been probably the other 4 years of his career combined.
Mm-hmm.
He was still pretty good in those years too. He just didn't register the stats. He's always been a headache, and to me, you can't let guys like this walk out the door. Not if you think you're a Super Bowl contender. It's one thing if you think this roster's in flux, but if you do, then I don't really understand why you traded for Jalen Ramsey.
I mean, there are very few times that I feel like a team should just tap out on because that's why we call this the franchise tag, because this is a franchise player that you want to keep in your building. It's just hard for me to imagine any team not using it when it's within their grasp.
Well, there's a reason for that, right? Because there's absolutely nothing you can do with this. Whatever the tag amount is, you will pay that.
Yes.
You will pay that in cash.
Yes.
It will be against your cap ledger, and there is nothing you can do to make it more palatable.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reason that you don't use it every year. Look, the NFLPA wants franchise tags to go away. It's never going to. Ever. You can fight this fight until I'm old, gray, and feeble, which at the rate I'm going might be 2 or 3 weeks from now. It's never going away.
Mm-hmm.
But they have de-incentivized it. When they put the escalator in it, of that it goes to 120% the second year, that was a concession that makes it harder to use. Because now whoever like Christian Wilkins, he's a perfect example. Let's say Miami tags him. Who has the leverage in those negotiations now? It's him. It's completely him. He's going to get $21 million from Miami. You're going to have to pay him every cent of that. And over the course of the year, you can't really even negotiate. You've got to get it done by June or July. I don't remember exactly when that deadline is. It's one or the other. So then you go into the offseason. It's not like I'm going to tag you again. I'm not going to tag you at $25 million next year. So there is more of a yin and yang here than people want to let on, but I can't imagine Miami not doing everything to keep him inside the building.
I like this system. I like the idea of teams being able to control the guys for a reasonable price for another year. If they're this good that you're talking about giving them top 5 money, this is the best solution possible.
Well, you're getting a bag. You're just not getting security. So there is, like I said, it's a yin and yang system. You will be one of the highest paid players at your position in the league. But you do have to go out there and perform again. So I understand why the players don't like it. I also understand why the teams do like it.
We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we will continue the discussion here about franchise tag or not, because there are some teams that do have big question marks, and they could set themselves back if they choose the wrong player or choose to give the franchise tag to the wrong player. You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville.
Think Wendy's Biggie Bag? Think your go-to meal deal. Because with your choice of JBC or crispy chicken sandwich, plus 4-piece nugs, junior fries, and a small soft drink, Biggie hits every time. So grab a Wendy's Biggie Bag today. U.S. price and participation may vary. Third-party delivery pricing may be higher.
At the North Carolina Education Lottery, we love to celebrate winners. So I hired a town crier to announce Pick 3, Pick 4, and Cash 5 winners.
Hear ye, hear ye. But there are thousands of winners every day.
Oyez, oyez, oyez. I may not have thought this through.
A proclamation of jubilant accord.
Who gave him a bell?
Daily draw games. What will you do with your win? Must be 18 to play. See Pick 3, Pick 4 and Cash 5 prize and odds charts at nclottery.com for details. Problem Gambling Helpline, 877-718-5543.
O'Reilly.
You've got questions? O'Reilly Auto Parts has answers. Need a pro you can trust? We've got that too. No matter what you need, our professional parts people have the training and expertise to help you do things right. Deep automotive knowledge. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Jessica, this is the happiest day of my life. Right up there with the day I bought my RV and insured it with Progressive. Man, I love that thing. There are a million fish in the sea, which I'm reminded of every time I bring my RV to the lake, but I vow to love and cherish you just as much as I cherish campsites with full electric and water hookups. I'm so sorry.
Protect your beloved with an RV policy from Progressive. Take as little as 4 minutes to see what you could save at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
The free iHeartRadio app has over 100 original stations waiting for you to explore right now, like 24/7 comedy.
Men don't settle down. We surrender.
Women, we never express the emotions we're actually feeling, right? I'm fine means I'm about to stab you in the neck.
Clips from today's top comedians and the greatest of all time.
Donut hole. If you want a donut, have a donut. Why are you eating the hole?
When you need a laugh, just open the free iHeartRadio app and search comedy.
You can actually change the station.
iHeartRadio. Free never sounded so good.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. Download our free app on Google Play or the App Store. Type in Asheville Home Search. You'll be able to connect with our team and see all the available homes for sale in our area. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
The Sportsocracy.
Why are you smiling? Because
The Sportsocracy.
Why are you smiling? Because I love football.
We're back in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville inside the Ingles studio. Time to franchise or not. So, can you make wagers on this stuff? Can we? Do they take wagers on where players go?
Well, that's an aggressive prop bet. There are a lot of prop bets that you can make. A lot of them with the NFL draft. Some of them with free agency, but not necessarily who's going to get tagged.
Really? Huh. Well, I mean, if you could make wagers on that kind of stuff, I guess this will be the last Draftmas season that you won't be able to put weight. Well, actually, you will be able to because the draft isn't coming up until April. And on March 11th, that is when it all goes live in the state of North Carolina, and you can get in on the action with DraftKings Sportsbook, one of America's top-rated sportsbook apps. And it's all coming soon to North Carolina. March 11th, it won't be long until you can bet on same-game parlays, money lines, and props, all with DraftKings right here in North Carolina. New customers, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Bet on all your favorite sports once we go live only on DraftKings Sportsbook. Coming to North Carolina again, March 11th. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or go to morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only. Eligibility restrictions apply. Subject to regulatory licensing requirements. See terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook/NC. I don't know if they are going to allow those, or if they offer the wagers on where the franchise tags go, but they should. That's the thing.
No, they shouldn't, because it would be too damn easy.
Oh, come on. You give spreads on everything else.
Not everything else.
Okay.
There's a reason you don't do that, and it's because there's people like me.
It's too easy to figure out where this is all going to go. So let's see. Baltimore, you say, is a question mark as to whether or not
I think it's a question mark.
They use it on Justin Madubuike.
Just all right. Explain it to me.
I feel like he had a
career
hell of a year.
He
Yeah.
did.
And why would I want to let him go? He's a defensive tackle, so it's going to cost me what? $18 million?
No, it's more than that. 20.9.
He's just not worth it.
Well, here's my problem.
Mm-hmm.
He had 13 sacks this year. How many did he have in every other year before that? It was 8.5. But Christian Wilkins, I understand that. If you watch the tape on Christian Wilkins, he was that same level of impactful every year. Stats just weren't there.
Mm-hmm.
This was a total outlier in that Mike McDonald system. Look, if you let him hit the market, somebody's going to give him a boatload of money. Do I think he's worth $21 million? Yeah. 1 year. I'm not sure that this is who he is. Are you?
No.
Do you look at
But
him and go,
doesn't that-
that's a top 5 defensive tackle in this league?
Maybe not sustained, but for next year, could be. And it could pay off. So this is where I would use it to my benefit of I can pay him what he's worth right now and not have to be tied down to paying him $20 million 5 years from now with a long-term deal.
I guess my problem is I just look at Madubuike, and I already have Travis Jones. I got a lot of guys that I think can be really good in this system.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not sure I'm playing that I'm paying top flight money for 1 year. I mean, fact or fiction, you could easily see Madubuike being the guy that doesn't sign, goes out on the free agent market, gets a $100 million 4-year deal, and 3 years from now we're going, good God, that was a nightmare.
Yes. Yes, and there's no doubt about it. But also going at it from my angle, that to me that makes the case for doing it now and just giving him $20 million and we'll be good, and then you can hit the market next year.
I get it.
But I'm in a window.
Mm-hmm.
And I want every piece that I can, and I don't want to let him out of the building. I don't want him to end up, going
in Cincinnati.
Exactly. Somewhere where it could hurt me.
Mm-hmm. I get it.
I can't guarantee that he's going to go to Seattle and be out of my hair.
Although that is the most likely spot.
Yes, it is. Then Michael Pittman Jr. with the Indianapolis Colts. I thought you'd be all in for this.
I don't know that I have to. I don't know that I have to pay him like that.
You don't think anybody else is going to give him 20?
No.
On the open market?
I don't. Ask yourself this question. Who really needs receivers? Like just dying for receiver help? They're all in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
The Titans, the Giants, the Cardinals, the Jets. They giving $20 million to Michael Pittman? Because I'm going to say no. It's such a deep position. Would I rather pay Keon Coleman 5 or Michael Pittman 20?
Okay, that's fair.
See, I think he's going to come at a value when he sees the market. Because I don't think anybody's giving him that. He goes back to Indianapolis, says, this is the best offer I got. I'm going to stay here. Then you get him 5 years at 16, and that's a value.
Yes.
And that's where I'm going, as opposed to whatever the tag would be, 20.6.
Yes.
I don't think he's worth $20.6 million.
Mm-hmm.
And look, I think he's a top 32 receiver in this league. Receiver is officially getting to that same spot that running back got to a few years ago. There's so damn many of them that it's going to devalue you. It's simple supply and demand.
Mm-hmm.
If the biggest or if the most stocked position in the draft is wide receiver, that brings down the value of every free agent wide receiver. Calvin Ridley, Michael Pittman,
Mike Evans.
I would agree with Evans, but I think Evans is going to bring himself down. Because I think there's only a handful of teams he would be interested in signing with.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at the Jets. I'm looking at the Chiefs, teams that I can win a Super Bowl with. So I'm not dead set that Michael Pittman gets that franchise tag.
Okay, sound argument there. Let's talk about the running backs. Because I think that's the most interesting part here is you got Eckler with the Chargers.
No shot.
No shot of that.
No
happening.
shot.
Okay. Josh Jacobs with the Raiders. I'm a no. He's not coming off the best year, and I don't think
he had the worst season of his career.
I don't know that he's worth $11 million.
That's 12.4.
Okay.
He's second tag. He's at 120%.
Gotcha.
To me, there's no shot they tag him. I think it's more likely that he does a 10-a-year, 3-year deal. So 3 for $30 with maybe 6 total in incentive.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 14 guaranteed. I think he's back with the Raiders. I don't think it's on a franchise tag.
And then there's Saquon Barkley.
I think he's back with the Giants, but I don't know that it's on a franchise tag.
This would be his second franchise tag.
So 12.1.
He would be $12.1 million as well.
He's 27 years old. He's injury prone. I'll be honest with you. If any running back was going to get it, it's Saquon, and it's not close.
Yes, I agree.
Because this is the one to me. All right, I'm going to do this for one more year, and then a year from now I'm going to tap out because I'm not getting stuck in this deal. If he gets hurt again, I'm good. You can just walk.
Yeah.
You can walk. You can go to the Cowboys. I've heard all this talk that he's locked in on going to the Cowboys. More power to you.
Sure.
Do it.
Go for it. I got you for
I'm
one
not
more year.
competitive to anything anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like with Saquon Barkley, I'm going to the playoffs. Without him, I'm going 4-13. You're probably going 6-11 regardless.
Yeah. I'm going full bonesaw with Saquon Barkley.
Bonesaw's ready.
You're going nowhere. I'm keeping you in the building. I'll do it for a year, and then after that, just let you walk. Let somebody else give you the deal because I'm not doing it. Josh Jacobs is, to me, I'm good.
I'm paying premium for a guy coming off the worst season of his career.
Not happening.
I'm good on that.
You told me earlier, I guess it was last week, that Leonard Williams is too old for Seattle to use the tag on him?
I would be shocked if they used the tag on him.
Okay.
I mean, now look, there's always one that catches me. But I would be, if you told me Seattle was using the tag on somebody, I would bet it was Jordan Brooks, not Leonard Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Linebacker, but then you get into that problem of the linebacker tag because linebacker is not broken into edge rusher linebacker and off-ball linebacker, so you're paying the premium on Brian Burns and all these 3-4 edge rushers. So I would say neither one of them get it.
Can't do it. Then Kyle Duggar from New England, $16 million for a safety.
I struggle to believe it. I do. I struggle to believe it. Look, he's been good, but if I was tagging anybody in New England, it'd be Michael Onwenu. I'd rather have the lineman than the safety.
And is he worth $19 million?
Onwenu?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Now, the question is, do you have to tag him as a guard, or are you allowed to tag him as a tackle? Because that gets into a nebulous point of, yes, offensive linemen are tagged universally, but it's not quite that simple.
Really? There is a breakdown for position?
There was. There's not anymore.
Okay.
But there's always been a thought. Okay, I'm explaining this poorly. Onwenu is not going to want to take the across the board because he plays guard and tackle. So sometimes offensive linemen get butt hurt and in their feelings because you're being tagged as an offensive lineman, not as a guard or a tackle, or in his case, a guy that plays both.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times it's not that the number is going to change, it's the number that he wants in relation to what he's going to get. I explained that poorly off the jump.
Okay.
I'm afraid the franchise tag with Onwenu could start something that you can't finish. And then next thing you know, he's out on the open market and you lose him for nothing.
Okay.
Did that make sense after I explained it?
Yeah, a little.
Okay.
It's confusing, but a little. And then
he played tackle last year. Offensive linemen are blended across the entire line. I think he wants a bag, and he deserves a bag.
Mm-hmm.
Especially after he slid in at tackle last year. He had never done that in his professional life.
But if I franchise tag him, does he sit out? Does he hold out?
Could. If you look over the years, look how many of these have been problems with running backs and offensive linemen. There's a reason for that.
Okay. And I only had 2 other names on my list as candidates to be tagged.
Jonathan Grenard.
That's the one.
I don't think so. I think it's more likely they take Jared Verse or Leatu Latu or I don't think Dallas Turner's going to fall to him. But
Jonathan Grenard's really good.
Yes.
Am I paying him $23 million for a year?
No shot.
No. I'll be glad to reach a deal with you for 17, maybe. Maybe I'm even a little low on that. But
you're high for me.
He's not $23 million.
He's not $23 million.
And then the last one, you go ahead. He's your guy.
It's Bryce Huff. It's Bryce Huff. And I would probably throw he's the one that I could see getting the transition tag because I want right of first refusal, and I'm not going to lose him for nothing. Here's where I would be if I'm the Jets. You haven't developed a whole lot of homegrown talent, and this was an undrafted free agent that you brought in and he developed into this. He's going to get a bag somewhere. And I understand you can replace him with Will McDonald. I get that. I'm also not going to blink at paying him $20 million because he's worth that for a year. So there's a great chance to me that you tag and trade him. I think you can recoup that second-round pick you're missing for him because he's so highly thought of around the league. And if you can't get the deal, then I bring him back. And I'm in a window with Aaron Rodgers. Didn't work well last year, but this is another usable piece, and I'm not losing him for nothing. I refuse to do it.
Again, Jonathan Grenard. Bryce Huff, he was what, a league leader in pass rush win rate for the last 2 years?
2 years in a row. He was a percentage point better than Micah Parsons last year, but he only played 41% of the snaps.
Who's going to get the tag? Who doesn't? I think there are going to be a lot of tags, and, of course, we will cover them all right here in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville.
And cooler behind your front end of the start of the weekend. Today, they'll high near 60 with sunshine and a light breeze in from the south and southeast. Overnight, it will be partly cloudy as the low drops into the mid-30s. Tomorrow, clouds will increase with gusty winds at times out of the south at a high of 64. Rain moves in tomorrow night ahead of a front with a low in the mid-40s. That shower activity will taper off towards the afternoon on Friday with a high close to 56. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Brakes for Less.
Brakes for Less. If you have the squeal, we have the deal. Get all 4 brakes for $239. Located in Asheville, call 888-261-STOP for an appointment or just walk in.
Hey, it's Mark Starling from First News on 570, and I've been going to Summit Dental in Asheville with Dr. Chad Reinhardt for years. They're fantastic, but you don't have to take my word for it. Check out some of these 5-star reviews from Google. After searching for a dentist for months, I finally found this place. I needed some serious dental work, and they got me in within a week. If you're anxious about going to the dentist, I assure you this is the place that can give you a new outlook on having dental work done. They're upfront, honest, and caring people who only want the best for their patients. You gotta check out Summit Dental in Asheville with Dr. Chad Reinhardt, home of the Comfort Menu.
The madness begins in Asheville. Make sure you're at the Harris Cherokee Center Asheville March 7th through 11th for the 2024 Ingalls SoCon Basketball Championships. Experience fun for the whole family as your favorite SoCon teams compete for a championship and a berth in the NCAA tournament. Book your travel and tickets by logging on to SoConHoops.com or by contacting the Harris Cherokee Center Asheville box office. Get your tickets today.
What's better than winning a prize on a Multiply the Cash scratch-off?
Hello? Well, I guess I'd say probably...
Winning every single prize. What's better than winning every single prize?
I can't think of...
Winning every prize times 2 with the Win All Doubler.
Well, you don't need me here, so I'm going to go pick up a scratch-off.
New Multiply the Cash from the North Carolina Education Lottery with a chance to win every prize doubled. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.77 to 4.71. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
To some, a baby's babbling doesn't mean much, but it does. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics have teamed up under new ownership by an Asheville native to better serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics can customize whatever you, your team, business, or local group may need through high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving right here in Asheville. Free personal delivery within Buncombe County and a reduced delivery fee anywhere in Western North Carolina. Visit ShowtimeSportsAVL.com and MountainGraphicsAVL.com. Your one-stop custom apparel shops.
We're back counting down to kickoff. Let's look at today's 3 keys to premium pre-gaming with Beast Unleashed, presented by Monster Brewing. Number 1, beat the heat.
Unleash the beast with bold, familiar flavors, 0 caffeine, and 0 sugar.
Number 2, running the option.
There's 4 to choose from: White Haze, Peach Perfect, Scary Berries, and my personal favorite, Mean Green.
And number 3, at 6% ABV, Max Protect.
Always drink responsibly, and you must be 21 or over.
Beast Unleashed, available at your local retailer. On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville. Back at the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, and there are a lot of weird things that you could say about Western North Carolina. This might be one of the weirdest I've ever heard. There are a lot of folk tales that go around about this area. There are books published on all the weird things that are hiding in these mountains.
Sasquatches. Snipes.
Sasquatches is one. Yeah, I'm thinking of the glandless goat people from Murphy. Yeah, you should kind of look up that story. It's real weird. Anyway,
if I had to live without a gland, I would. That's a life I don't want to live.
They slept under the house because they didn't have any sweat glands and kept them cool. It's a weird story. Anyhow, lots of weird things go on in the mountains. However, I never thought we'd get to this point where the mountains of Western North Carolina would be the home to the only on-record self-impregnating stingray. Let that sink in for a second.
Your story and mine couldn't be more different, but they have some similarities.
In Hendersonville, there is a place called the Aquarium and Shark Lab. Did you know that we had one of those here?
I did not.
It's been in operation for quite a while. It started out as just a research facility that had 2 or 3 tanks, and now it's grown and gotten more support over the years. And the story came out last week that they have a female stingray who is pregnant. The problem is they don't have a male stingray. I guess the fish at this place kind of mingle between tanks because they found the stingray, I guess after they discovered that she was pregnant, they found that she had shark bites on her, which is common in shark mating. They'll bite each other while they're doing their nature's deed. And so that started...
It's also common in trailer parks. I'm trying. You're not making this easy.
That started the rumor that in Hendersonville, North Carolina, in this aquarium research lab, we're going to have the first ever shark stingray baby. But that's not the case because that's not a thing. Interspecies breeding is not biologically possible. So they have now determined that this stingray has parthenogenesis, which is a form of asexual reproduction that has never been recorded on record for this species of stingray. Who knew?
I didn't think there was ever a time where there would be so many jokes that my brain would just Control-Alt-Delete itself, but it did. And if that story was in West Virginia, I'd have a far different explanation for what happened to that stingray. Mm-hmm. Oddly enough, that is where my story comes from. Charleston, West Virginia, in the neighborhood of Kanawha City. They have a landmark, and it has been Rona'd. During the Rona times, the doors were shut of a beloved restaurant in Kanawha City. Care to take a stab at what that restaurant is?
McDonald's.
No, it's way more West Virginia than that. I'll give you a
Waffle
hint.
House.
Nope. I'll give you a hint. Its mascot is an owl.
Hooters.
It's the Hooters. The Hooters has been closed, and residents have been pining for the day that the Hooters would reopen. But now we know definitively that will not happen.
Why?
Because the demolition of the Hooters has been scheduled.
Oh.
It will be making way for a Sheetz gas station, which, look, I'm big on Sheetz.
It could do worse.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
That's a formidable gas station, but it's not Hooters.
It's not a Wawa, but it's
Sheetz is
it's
better.
close.
Sheetz is better than Wawa.
Is
Fight
it?
me.
Okay.
Yeah. For next week. So on Friday, they will have an event to memorialize the Hooters. It's candlelight vigil. 6:30 to 8. They will have the wings. They will have the wing flavors. They will even have the goat sandwich, the strip cheese, in limited amounts, so that this great community in West Virginia can come together and remember the good times.
I hope they bring back every Hooters waitress in the history of that and make them all wear the uniform.
Well, they're not Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders, okay? So they're
they're what?
Well, I mean, here's my question. The talent that you're hiring at a Hooters in Charlestown, West Virginia, I mean, that's somebody that's been there a bunch of times. It's kind of like the day shift at the Trophy Club. Like, you know.
Really, in a college town?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I guess that's Morgantown.
Yes, Morgantown is
Charlestown is.
Charlestown has a college, too, though. I think it's community college.
I was going to say, it's West Virginia Tech Community College, and nobody wants to see what's going on with that.
You ever hear that Tom Segura bit about when he was sent to the other store to pick up his tidbits? It's kind of the same principle. You should go to this other store. That's a weird thing to say to your best customer, but I'm listening. Show me what you got.
Stephen Tao, he says Wawa is top tier. Sheetz is third rate. Third rate. It's a little harsh.
Well,
I mean, it's no QT. But
that's where I was headed. As somebody that worked for Budweiser for a while, I can tell you QT has got all the rest of you just smacked. Although Sheetz, I believe, is making its way into North Carolina.
Is it now?
I want QT to make its way into Asheville.
I did see an article the other day that I guess it's probably because Josh Michael liked it, and we're friends on Facebook, and so I see his things that he likes. That there's a Wawa that's coming to the Raleigh area, so he was all excited that maybe we're going to get one. I feel like we're going to get a Buc-ee's first.
I don't want a Buc-ee's. I have no desire for Boosie's. Okay.
You just wait. They're going to put a Buc-ee's in over near the Asheville outlets, and it's going to completely just destroy every more than it already is, the traffic over there at Malfunction Junction.
Yeah, I'll pass.
You just wait.
I'll pass with all that.
We're going to put it right next to the new Tanger outlets.
Buc-ee's to me is like if a trailer park had a high school reunion every day with trinkets and beavers. Although when I say it that way, it sounds like a party that I would get an invitation to.
I just feel like they probably got the property over there for a Buc-ee's. It is the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM.
While we were in at the Senior Bowl, I tried to get Mullet Senior to stop at a Buc-ee's. He looked at me like I had four heads.
Oh, he didn't.
I'm not doing that.
Did you explain to him the greatness of the Beaver Nugget?
Have you ever met Mullet Senior? He, in terms of I don't love people, he makes me look like Mother Teresa. He needs you to stay 6 feet. He was doing 6 feet apart before COVID ever started. I need you that way.
If ever there was.
I need you to lay down on the sidewalk, and if when you lay down, your feet or your head would touch me, you're too close.
Okay. All right.
And I respect that.
I respect that. The College Football Playoff Board of Managers has made the big decision. We have decided on a format for the 12-team playoff. It's the 5+ model. It was the right way to go. It was the only way to go, in my opinion. I was about to say,
what was the alternative?
We will discuss it up next.
Help the planet with a tip from iHeartRadio Earth. Marine litter is often the result of poorly managed trash on land. To help prevent trash from escaping from your outdoor trash bins on collection day, keep the trash bin lid closed. Don't overflow it. and put it out for pickup shortly before the scheduled pickup time. Brought to you by iHeartRadio Earth and the National Environmental Education Foundation. To find more tips for smarter, sustainable living, or to take action in your own community, go to iHeartRadio.com/Earth.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The patented key ingredient is something called Testofen, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text TAP to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text TAP to 321-321. That's TAP to 321-321.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
When you're rolling Charmin Ultra Soft on the party, this is more, so roll it back, everybody. Roll it back. Charmin's irresistibly soft and hella nice. The grip is always soft. It's our party vibe. She's cushion and clean, so our cheeks feel flat. So what? Everybody wanna touch the sky.
Charmin Ultra Soft is irresistibly soft and more absorbent, so you can use less. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
The best season of the year is here.
Tailgate season.
Monster Brewing presents this season's MVP.
The Beast Unleashed.
With 4 bold, familiar flavors.
With 0 caffeine and 0 sugar.
Beast Unleashed is your new pregame ritual.
With white haze, mean green, peach perfect, and scary berries, there's a flavor for every fan.
The Beast
Unleashed.
6% alcohol by volume. Unleashed responsibly. Must be 21 or over. Beast Unleashed. Available at your local retailer.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. And did I mention that Clarissa Sells WNC loves teachers? We love teachers so much, we're giving back 25% of our commission at closing. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
The Ingles 2024 Southern Conference Downtown Dribble and Kids Fest, presented by Champion Credit Union, will be held Saturday, March 9th, 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. at the Roger McGuire Greene at Pack Square Park. The Downtown Dribble will feature interactive games, inflatables, pep bands, cheerleaders, and a parade. Each participant will receive a basketball, Downtown Dribble t-shirt, and a ticket to the noon session quarterfinal basketball games. Check-in will begin at 9:30 a.m. at Roger McGuire Greene. To register, visit downtowndribble.eventbrite.com.
The Sportsocracy.
That is some good, clean family fun there, eh, Cot?
We are in the Sportsocracy. It's ESPN Asheville. The College Football Playoff Board of Managers got together and unanimously approved yesterday the 5-7 model for the 12-team playoff. This is the model that guarantees a spot for a group of 5 champion.
Woo.
It takes out the guarantee for the Pac-12 since it does not exist
anymore.
anymore.
It has 2 teams.
Well, the thing that stuck out to me the most about this was I knew they were going to cave at some point.
You're stuck on it was unanimous.
It was the Pac-12 because that was the only way this was going to change was with a unanimous vote. They got the Pac-12 to come along, or the Pac-2, if you want to refer to it that way. Washington State and Oregon State left behind in the Pac-12. They were not going to be eligible for a playoff spot over the next 2 years. So they were able to spin this and get the Pac-12 commissioner on board with, you need to approve this because you're not getting in otherwise.
Well, I mean, the fear was that the Big Ten and the SEC, all right, you don't give us what we want, we'll just take our ball and go home. We don't need you.
When they
we do 12 teams out of the Big Ten and the SEC, and it will be infinitely more watchable than Tulane.
No doubt.
or Boise State.
When they announced that they were joining forces, that was the big fear, is that the two major conferences are going to separate if you don't do what they want you to.
I did notice that, but I didn't think much about it because I just felt like that was a power play. The big boys went, nah, you're going to do what we want, or we'll just leave you out altogether. My biggest takeaway was Notre Dame.
Yeah.
They cannot be a top 4 seed ever.
Sucks to suck. Join the ACC.
There it is. But it won't be the ACC.
No, it'll be the Big Ten.
It'll be the Big Ten.
Yeah. We want to push
I
this.
feel like this is so easy to figure out if you're really paying attention. And if you're an ACC fan, not of Clemson, North Carolina, Florida State, or whichever little tag-along those three decide to let go with them, yesterday was not a good day for you. Because Boston College and Syracuse and Georgia Tech and Virginia Tech, and I could keep doing this. Your days at the big boy table are drawing nigh. Because we just forced Notre Dame to join a conference. This is the first day in the last however many years. It is better for you to be in a conference than it is to be the way that you are. Because they just screwed you over. So just
was it
assume
not planned that way.
I think Notre Dame was in the same boat as Oregon State and Washington State. You can oppose us, but we can also leave you out. Because you have no conference affiliation. We don't have to let you in here at all. And we'll burn the other independents because I got news for you. We don't really care about UConn or whoever. I don't even know who else is left as an independent at this point. We don't really care. So you want to keep fighting this fight? That's fine. You will lose because we don't need you either.
Over time, we have taken option after option after option off the table for Notre Dame, whether it be the ACC or college football as a whole or the selection committee or whoever. They've been stacking the deck against being an independent for years. Now this is the final death blow. This is the join the conference or you're not going to be recognized for what you could be. Because the idea here is that if Notre Dame was ranked number 1 and undefeated in the country, they've rolled through their entire schedule because they don't have a conference championship, they can't get the automatic bid. So that means they're forced into winning 4 games to try to win a national championship instead of 3.
That's enough to get you to join a conference.
I would say so. The question is, which conference will it be?
Well, Bob Brown had a really good point that they have to choose between the NBC contract and the national championship. I don't think they're winning a national championship anyway. It's too hard. It's too hard to get players to South Bend, Indiana. The Golden Dome was enough for a long time, and being on NBC was enough for a long time. Now, that doesn't matter. I can get on TV at SMU.
But can I get in that prime spot?
Doesn't matter. I can get to the NFL at SMU.
Yeah, but can you get the NIL dollars? That's another place where I feel like
you
Notre
overvalue
Dame.
you overvalue what Notre Dame is going to give you compared to one of these other schools. I'll go ahead and tell you, in terms of total spend, Ohio State's blowing Notre Dame out of the water. They're not even in the ballpark. I'll put it this way: Notre Dame's closer in NIL money to SMU than they are to Ohio State.
But they can't be forever. I
Yeah,
feel
they
like
can.
you have to join that. You have to
they
join
can.
the parade.
Notre Dame will go down as they have with every one of these fights, kicking and screaming. Because they think they're better than you, because it's so rigid academically, and that's why you've been left behind. But now you're going to have to hop on board and go to the Big Ten. The question is, who will they take with them? I think Florida State's a given. I think North Carolina's a given. Clemson's the difficult one because Clemson has some work to do to get that invite. They're not academically the kind of institution that the Big Ten tends to take. There's an accreditation, and now, for whatever reason, it slipped out of my head, that every Big Ten school has. Clemson doesn't. Florida State does. North Carolina does.
More realignment on the way in college football.
How long does it take?
A year.
I'll say it happens before this season starts.
Ooh. That would have to take some maneuvering in court, wouldn't it, for Florida State?
Depends on if you're willing to pay. And I think they are. At this point, I think the ACC wants rid of Florida State as bad as Florida State wants out.
Even if it costs $500 million.
How quick would I make that up? I mean, that's the thing. You're going to look at the boosters and go, those checks better get a little fatter than they were.
You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. We'll take a quick break. When we come back at the top of the hour, it'll be time for the daily draft. And, you know, I hate to give J.J. Redick any flowers. Being a Carolina guy, he's a Duke guy. But I got to coming up next.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Temperatures will trend warmer into Thursday, then cooler behind your front into the start of the weekend. Today, they'll high near 60 with sunshine and a light breeze in from the south and southeast. Overnight, it will be partly cloudy as the low drops into the mid-30s. Tomorrow, clouds will increase with gusty winds at times out of the south at a high of 64. Rain moves in tomorrow night ahead of a front with a low in the mid-40s. That shower activity will taper off towards the afternoon on Friday with a high close to 56. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel.
What's better than winning a prize on a Multiply the Cash scratch-off?
Oh, hello? Well, I guess I'd say probably...
Winning every single prize. What's better than winning every single prize?
I can't think
Winning every prize times 2 with the Win-All Doubler.
Well, you don't need me here, so I'm going to go pick up a scratch-off.
New Multiply the Cash from the North Carolina Education Lottery with a chance to win every prize doubled. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.77 to 4.71. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Patients everywhere are experiencing joint pain relief thanks to QC Kinetics regenerative treatments. So how does this non-surgical approach work? QC Kinetics Medical Director Dr. Aaron Wolkoff explains.
It's like when you get a paper cut and the cells that come onto that scene first stop the bleeding, and then it recruits more cells to form new skin and new soft tissue. And then you look down a week later, 2 weeks later, and it's like nothing happened and that paper cut never existed.
In this same way, QC Kinetics uses your natural biologics to help repair and restore aching knees, hips, shoulders, and backs.
We take those same similar cells in different areas that are arthritic, are painful, and we cause this kind of internal self-healing that can resolve patients' pain.
Relief without surgery. See if you're a candidate for QC Kinetics regenerative treatments.
Call QC Kinetics, 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. 828-333-9517.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
The Sportsocracy.
It fires me up, man. I love it. Say it one more time.
The Sportsocracy.
Take it back!
Beer City's best sports talk.
It is gross.
Just earlier.
They are mature, actually. You just have to get to know them better.
Your lunchtime dose of dumbassery. Live from the Ingalls Studio.
You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. The Sportsocracy, heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app. We're seen everywhere on YouTube. Go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel. Join us in the chat. You want to subscribe to the channel as well so you get the alert when we have 4-round mock drafts going out, team by team. Flostradamus churning those out at ESPN Draft Nerd. And myself will be heading to Indianapolis next week for the NFL Scouting Combine, the Underwear Olympics.
We have 8 of those already out. The next 8 will come out tomorrow and Friday. I am not feeling awesome today. So we'll take a pause for the cause with those. They'll resume tomorrow, and then the final 16 will come out Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Have no fear. We will be broadcasting live from Indianapolis for those for next week. So despite the fact that we'll be leaving town, we will be here on the air on ESPN Asheville. And hopefully no technical issues will arise out of that. But we should be fine because, I mean, we're going to an NFL stadium where I'm pretty sure that they've got all of the finest tools that we can use to bring you all of the broadcast each and every day.
Well, the radio things are on you. The video things are on me. I know definitively that the video will work because I have dumbed this down to a point that I think I could teach a Labradoodle to do it.
That is great. I'm really glad. So
the radio things, yeah, don't ask me because I have no idea.
All of the best Draftmas coverage we've ever provided you. coming your way this season. We've already had Jeremy live from the Senior Bowl. Now we're going to have the both of us on the road from Indianapolis from the Scouting Combine next week. And, subscribe to the channel so you get all of the content.
It's going to be a wonderfully good time.
J.J. Redick. I hate giving Dukies their flowers, but J.J. Redick has caused quite the stir because with his little spot with the mothership, he goes on television and all these podcasts, and he is free with his assessment of, all things basketball.
Does he still read poetry under a tree?
I don't know if he does or not, but, that's neither here nor there.
I was just asking.
It's just a good way to unwind after a day with your beret and your cucumber sandwiches and your little chai latte, sitting by a tree somewhere, just writing about Mother Earth. Well, Gaia Earth will take care of you. No, J.J. Redick, he's talking about Doc Rivers. If you haven't heard, his comments about Doc Rivers were basically there is always an excuse with this guy. At the All-Star break, he's talking about how Milwaukee, it's hard coming in and taking over a team mid-year, and it's not gone really well for the Milwaukee Bucks to this point. They're 3-7 since they fired Adrian Griffin and brought in Doc Rivers. I have long been a critic of Doc Rivers. He's had all the great teams, and he's only won one title. And I hear no lies from J.J. Redick when he says all I hear are excuses from this guy. Complaining about the team that was, we had some, what was the quote? We had some guys that were here, and we had some guys that were in Cabo about the last game before the All-Star break that the Bucks lost. J.J. Redick's response to that was, but Memphis was playing G League guys, two-way contract guys. How the hell do you lose to that? All those teams in Los Angeles, they got so close, yet blew all those leads. Where is the lie in what J.J. Redick is saying? I feel like so many people are coming to the defense of Doc Rivers, but nobody has a great answer to, can't point to anything in his past that goes, he's a clutch coach. He's the right coach to turn around a program or to get you to the championship. I don't see any lies. What do you think?
I'm not. Look, in the NBA, he's a top 5 coach, but give it a minute, there'll be 25 new ones in a year. So Doc Rivers becomes a punching bag. I'm not 100% sure why.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the 8 most successful coaches in NBA history. He just doesn't have a ring.
Well, he has one. He has the 2008 ring.
Yes.
So he does have one. So he barely misses out on today's daily draft topic, which got me to thinking about the coaches who never won one. Who are the greatest on that list, regardless of sport?
I will cede the first pick to you because I have 2 that are my 1-2, and I guarantee you're not taking one of them.
Okay.
I'll give you a hint.
Yeah.
Neither one of mine's a pro coach.
Okay. My number 1 is, and you could take this either way you want to. Tip of the cap to the guy who almost got there but never won a title, or is it the most disappointing thing that this guy never won a title? And I think my first pick, I'm gonna go with the most disappointing. It wasn't a guy that I was really around to see a whole lot of his career. We only know about him because he had a fracas with an opposing player, or at least younger generations only know about him there. And everybody else talks about him like he's the greatest coach since Vince Lombardi.
Rudy Tomjanovich.
Nope. It's college football. It's Bo Schembechler.
Oh, yeah.
I was always raised with the myth that Bo Schembechler was the greatest coach of all time.
Rudy T won 2. I don't know what I was doing there.
Yeah. And I was shocked when I got a little older and I found out, he actually didn't really win anything.
No.
Interesting. Very few guys are held up as the gold standard of coaches. And they never won the big one. To me, he's number one. And you could look at it whichever way. Might be the greatest coach to never win one, but he also could be the biggest disappointment that he never won a title.
Yeah, I was right. The guy you took was not even going to be on my list. Mine was really, 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 really easy.
Mm-hmm.
Bob Huggins, Mark Few. I'm through talking now. That's my 1 and 2, and it ain't even close.
Okay.
That's 2 of the 10 best college basketball coaches of all time. One of them never really got all that close. Because for whatever reason, he had some of the most ungodly, terrible luck in the NCAA tournament that you have ever seen.
That's the thing that got me with Huggins.
Huggins is a great coach.
He is a great coach.
Great coach.
But did he ever have a team that should have won a national championship?
No doubt. He had a Cincinnati team that would probably have cruised to one, but his best player blew his knee out in the first game of the A-10 tournament?
Something like that.
Yeah, Kenyon Martin blew his knee out in the first half of their first tournament game, and they were a hog to slaughter because the team was fine around him, but Kmart was the dude.
Mm-hmm. But that's the only one, right?
No, he had a couple others.
Did he? Okay.
He had a couple at Cincinnati that were really good. He had a couple runs at West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
I think he is a legendary all-timer coach. And I think Mark Few actually might be better than him.
Mark Few is better than him, in my opinion. And he would have been my 2.
For me, those were clear in a way.
How many times? How many times you going to be here?
Well, I would say it's however many times it's already happened because it looks like it's gotten late early.
Well, it does. This year is not a banner year, obviously.
Which is funny because it's not a banner year, and I think they're 17-8 or something like that. Played the toughest schedule in America, and they may miss the tournament. Which is dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we got to get a 14th Big Ten team in. Shut up. Tell me why nobody cares about your sport until March.
Mm-hmm. He's been.
I hate the NCAA so much.
He's been to the national championship twice and has not won it. He's been to the Final Four like 4 times, and
he's been a 1 seed. I don't even know how many times.
Well, they were the joke. To me, they were the joke for the early 2000s, right, and the early 2010s of okay, you're going to be a number 1 seed because you're going to roll through the Pacific Coast Conference. West Coast Conference, whatever. Okay, so you're 22 and whatever, and you're going to go in and lay an egg in the first round or second round.
They got to the Sweet 16 many years in a row, and they were recruiting high-level talent.
But that was always where you were capped out.
He's a great coach.
He is.
I'm always shocked they were able to keep him that long. Geographically isolated in a bad, irrelevant conference. Mark Few's a great coach.
Mm-hmm. All right. My next selection. I'm torn between a couple of NBA coaches here. My first one is Jerry Sloan.
That one's solid.
He was in Utah for 29 years, it felt like. And he got so close so many times. Conference semifinals, conference finals, getting to the NBA finals and running into Michael Jordan and the Bulls. How he never won with Karl Malone and John Stockton, I will never know.
It's 3 words. Michael Jordan.
It's one of the worst runs of luck. But I feel that way about a lot of these coaches.
Yeah, I mean he got to 2. They were the best team in the West for 2 years. And look, and he was a great coach. I'm not saying he wasn't. I don't have an NBA coach on my list.
Really?
Because they're irrelevant. Well, that's okay. That's not what I just said is not 100%.
I was going to say now they're irrelevant. Back then?
I have a kind of NBA coach. If you don't take him, you'll understand.
A kind of NBA coach. Okay. My next one is George Karl. Carolina guy, obviously, so I have a soft spot in my heart for him. But he's another one. The Seattle Supersonics years.
They ran into Jordan.
I thought for sure that you were capable of winning a championship, and you were capable of winning a championship had it not been for Michael.
I think it's hard for me to be realistic about George Karl because he's such a jackass.
Does that matter? There's so many jackasses that you pull for.
You're not wrong. I've always kind of felt like George Karl. He's one of those that I wish I could buy him for what he's worth and sell him for what he thinks he's worth, because I don't view him that way, and I never have. You had one really good run. Other than that, you took a lot of super talented rosters and crashed them into the rocks. How many teams did he take over that you looked at and went, this should be a 2-3 seed in the conference and competitive for the finals? And he never got even kind of close.
Really?
Look at all those Denver Nugget years.
Mm-hmm.
Those teams were really good, and he made them look really bad.
I mean, they lost in the first round of the playoffs a lot. They were in the playoffs every year. He did lose in the first round every time except for one, where they were able to make it to the conference finals, but never got to the big one. So there's one. Maybe that's the biggest disappointment, but I still feel like he belongs on the list of the greatest coaches, or the coaches that came the closest.
It's so funny
and never won.
It's so funny how differently we viewed this.
Mm-hmm.
Because my next two were easy. And the three you've picked, I didn't even have on my list. I think they were all fine. I guess I look at two of yours ran into Michael Jordan. Okay. That's an uncomfortable circumstance. And it would be one thing if they were combined and they had lost to Michael 5 times. They didn't. One of you was the best team for 2 years. One of you was the best team for a year. Mm-hmm. And other than that, you really just had duration. They were in the league for so long.
Yeah, you had a lot of wins.
I'm kind of cheating with one of my next ones, but it's time to take a commercial break. So we'll take that break, come back. I'll cheat a little bit. Tank will get angry, and I won't change anything.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville.
Renewal by Anderson's here.
Kickstart the new year with this incredible deal. Buy one window or door and get the second for 40% off. Act now to schedule your free, no-obligation, in-home consultation with my team at freewindowassessment.com. That's freewindowassessment.com.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The patented key ingredient is something called Testofen, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text TAP to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text TAP to 321-321. That's TAP to 321-321.
QC Kinetics patient Robert Patterson, a veteran and business owner, struggled at work and in the gym with chronic agonizing shoulder pain.
Those injuries just continue to nag, and if you don't treat them, they just get worse. And I just kind of abused my body for a long time, and it finally had said enough is enough.
That's okay, because QC Kinetics tells your pain, hey, enough is enough. Their regenerative treatments bring you relief by helping restore and repair damaged tissue with no drugs, no downtime, and best of all, no surgery.
I was able to exceed the goals that I had previously attained in the gym. It was absolutely worth its weight in gold, so I could continue to live life without limitation.
Ready to get lasting relief from your joint pain? Call QC Kinetics to learn more about how natural biologic treatments can get you lasting results. Call now. It's a free consultation.
828-333-9517. QC Kinetics.
888-333-9517.
The free iHeartRadio app has over 100 original stations, like 24/7 comedy.
If they were really donut holes, the bag would be empty.
When you need to laugh, just open the free iHeartRadio app and search comedy.
Should we call someone? I'm like, no, that's his face.
iHeartRadio. Free never sounded so good.
Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics have teamed up under new ownership by an Asheville native to better serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics can customize whatever you, your team, business, or local group may need through high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving right here in Asheville. Free personal delivery within Buncombe County and a reduced delivery fee anywhere in Western North Carolina. Visit ShowtimeSportsAVL.com and MountainGraphicsAVL.com. Your one-stop custom apparel shops.
It's the moment you dream of.
The Sportsocracy.
Why are you smiling? Because I love football.
It is ESPN Asheville, and this is the Sportsocracy. We're in the midst of the daily draft today, and, well, J.J. Redick's comments about Doc Rivers, that there's always an excuse with this guy. No matter how the deck is stacked in his favor, when his teams don't win, there's always an excuse. Stephen Tao in the YouTube comment said, yeah, but JJ talking bad about a guy who gave him his best years is kind of crap. I don't think I agree with that. I mean, just because you played your best basketball with him as your coach, does that mean that you owe that to him? That you owe? No,
he owes it to who's employing him to be honest. That's where.
But is he not being honest? If he doesn't believe that he's a great coach,
I'm agreeing with you.
Oh, okay. Thank you. All right, I just wanted to clear that up because I don't think this is just JJ throwing shade to throw shade.
No, he's being honest.
Yeah, he's saying this guy is not the guy that everybody makes him out to be.
Yeah, what's funny about Doc Rivers to me is that there's two camps, and I don't think either one of you are right. People either give him way too much credit or not enough, and there's really no in between.
If he had not won that title in 2008 with the Boston Celtics, he would have been my number one pick here. As we're talking about the coaches to never get it done, he is a great coach. I give him flowers for that. But you are the ultimate choke artist when it comes to being a head coach. There's no shaking that, which made it ridiculous to me that Milwaukee would give up on a guy that they just hired 6 months ago to bring this guy in. And I think it's absolutely hilarious that they're 3-7 now and going, what did we just do?
Well, you also seem to just gloss over some of the things that were happening in Milwaukee.
There were other things.
It didn't matter if it was Doc Rivers. It was going to be somebody because that had gone to an ugly point.
Yeah.
So I told you I was going to cheat a little bit because technically.
Let me recap the picks before you get into that. So far in the draft, I've taken Bo Schembechler, Jerry Sloan, and George Karl. Was the best / most disappointing to ever get it done. You've taken Bob Huggins and Mark Few, which clear great choices for college basketball. Now your thumb on the scale, names on the door choice is what?
Because technically this guy did win one, but I'm going to give the preface. It's pro Jim Harbaugh.
Ah, good one. I'll take it. I'll accept.
I think he is an elite head coach. And if you look at his record, look, he wasn't there long, and I'm really anticipating a good run with the Chargers here. Mm-hmm. But if he doesn't win a title with this roster, I think there's a possibility that he goes down as the best NFL coach that didn't win one. Because you really think about it, there's not a lot of them. Most of them won one.
Mm-hmm. There were some that didn't.
Like who?
Well, we may get to one of those.
Well, I mean, I got one coming up.
Okay.
It's Marv Levy.
That's one.
Yeah, I don't think he's that great of a coach. I never did. I think he's a great man.
Mm-hmm.
I think he is really likable. I did just watch the 4 falls of the Buffalo Bills, and I'm not going to lie. Just call your Buffalo Bill fan friends and just tell them you love them. Like, watching that documentary, I'm like, good Lord. No wonder you people drink so. I don't think I could have survived one of those. You had 4 of them in 4 years? Ugh. But do I think Marv Levy was an elite coach? Not really. I think he had a gimmicky offense that worked in a horrifically bad AFC. I was shocked in that documentary that they don't really reference how bad the AFC was at that time. John Elway and Dan Marino were the 2 best quarterbacks in that conference at the time. 3 was unequivocally Jim Kelly. 4 might have been Bernie Kosar. It was bad times. They touched on that once. And Elway and Marino had awful rosters.
So it's what, 2020's NFC bad?
I would say the AFC at that time was worse because that ran longer. That went from 85 to, God, I think New England in 96. That the NFC won every single Super Bowl for like 11 years. I don't know that we're going to have that with the AFC. I won't be shocked if it goes pretty close to that.
The only problem I have with you taking Harbaugh here is that he was only a coach in the NFL for 3 years.
That's fine.
And he made it to a Super Bowl.
He had the best team in the NFC twice.
He made it to a conference championship. And I feel like, I don't know, if we're putting Jim Harbaugh on the list of greatest coaches to never win a title, then Lincoln Riley belongs on this list.
He's on my list. He ain't this high.
Because it's similar. You've only been around for 3 or 4 years at this point.
Lincoln Riley has done less with more than probably any coach in college football. The problem is I don't think he's all that great of a coach. I never have. I think he's a great recruiter, and I think he is a great promoter. I don't think he's a great coach.
Ryan Day comes to mind.
Ryan Day was born on third base and acts like he had a triple. There's another name I'm waiting for you to say because I know you're going to take him. Let's see who your 2 picks are.
Okay. Who's your second pick after Harbaugh?
Marv Levy.
Marv Levy. Okay. That's a good one. I'm not going the Marv Levy route. I'm going Dan Reeves. He took 2 teams to Super Bowls. He had John Elway. Obviously, that was the stretch you were just talking about of you couldn't beat the NFC. The deck was stacked against you.
I always thought Dan Reeves kind of got screwed that he never had a great personnel guy. He was gifted John Harbaugh. John Elway, excuse me.
And then he led, was it Chris Chandler?
Yes.
Jamal
Anderson.
Who was the quarterback of the Atlanta Falcons to a Super Bowl. He was a great coach, but I think he kind of falls into that same Jerry Sloan, George Karl, just you got unlucky.
Yeah, Dan Reeves falls into he's the antithesis of Jim Harbaugh. I never thought he was elite, but man, he did it for a really long time. It's kind of the same thing with Marv Levy. He just didn't go to 4 Super Bowls and lose.
Yeah. And I'm going Marty Schottenheimer.
Wow. There's a name you haven't said yet that I'm just dumbfounded by.
The Los Angeles Chargers, or the San Diego Chargers at the time, they were the greatest show on turf. They were the new St. Louis Rams. They had it all. They had Phillip Rivers. They had the receivers. They had the running back in LT that just couldn't be stopped. And you never could get over what you were facing in the AFC, much like Jim Harbaugh is now facing with the Chargers. You've got a stacked AFC to try to go through, and he just never could get over the hump of the New England Patriots or the Indianapolis Colts. I always felt like he was a great coach, and probably one that should have won one at one point. Who did I leave out?
It's not a coach I'm going to say. Because I've got 2 left, and neither one of them are the one that I thought you were going to take first.
Okay.
My first one here is Brad Stevens. because he was arguably the best coach in college basketball and then arguably the best coach in the NBA, and he never really got all that close outside of that 1 year at Butler.
Mm-hmm.
And those NBA teams, it would dumbfound you how much talent he had and how he seemingly just found ways to lose every single year.
Yep.
And I'm trying to, you know what? I'm going to take the one that this is cheating a little bit too, because he has won national championships, but it's not national championships that anybody cares about.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Kelly.
What national championship?
He won them in like D2 before he became a high-level head coach.
Gotcha.
But then he's had the big boy jobs, and he's had teams that were good enough to win, and he never does.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. And last pick for me, I will go Kyle Shanahan.
That's the one I've been waiting on you to pick.
And I didn't do it because I knew you wouldn't do it.
Yeah, correct.
Because Kyle Shanahan, to you, his name being mentioned in a greatest of all time list, I don't think you're all about that.
No. He would be on my most overrated coaches list. To me, the difference between Kyle Shanahan and Arthur Smith is not that significant.
Mm-hmm.
You think you're smarter than me, and you look smarter than me until you find somebody that is smarter than you, and then you look like a big old dum-dum. And every time you come up against Andy Reid or Bill Belichick, weird. But, yeah, that was the name I thought you were going to say really early.
Mm-hmm. There are a lot of coaches. Look, only a few coaches can win a Super Bowl. Only a few coaches can win national championships in any sport. It's hard to win the titles. There's so many great coaches that never did it, though. I mean, we just scratched the surface.
Oh, no doubt.
Frank Beamer. His name got thrown out in the YouTube comments by Evan Doyle, our Virginia Tech guy. That's a great answer. Don Coryell.
That's a good one.
Another good one.
Lon Kruger was another one on my list. Because he's coached since, I think, the dawn of time. Mm-hmm. The Big Bang happened, and Lon Kruger took a head coaching job about 6 days later.
And what? He was the head coach at Arizona, right, when they made their run?
He was at Oklahoma. I don't remember all the schools he coached.
He coached
Lon's
at a lot.
been at a bunch of places.
He coached at a lot of them.
I know he's been at Illinois, Oklahoma. I'll have to look it up. I don't remember who the other two are. He coached forever.
He did.
And then he coached in the NBA.
I don't remember that.
He was with the Hawks for about 15 minutes.
Okay. Others I had written down here, Ryan Day, Lincoln Riley, I mentioned them. College basketball. Kelvin Sampson. He's an all-time great coach, isn't he? I mean, I get that he's left, he and Bruce Pearl are in the same category as of we're great coaches, but we kind of leave things a little smoldering when we take off.
Yeah, that's the Larry Brown Award.
Yeah.
we set fires and go, ooh, pretty, and run away.
It's the John Calipari rule.
Oh, look, it's so pretty. I got to go over here now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Any other names that we missed? You can throw them out in the YouTube comments. Can you think of any off the top of your head?
Mike D'Antoni was that was the only NBA coach I really had. That was exclusively an NBA coach.
Yep, that's not a bad one.
He had so many good teams. And by golly, they couldn't play a lick of defense to save their lives. Look, we score 1 billion points. Then we get into the playoffs, and we don't score points, and we can't stop you from scoring at all.
You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. When we come back, we'll jump into the rankings of the running backs in the 2024 NFL Draft Class. Plus, we will have the most important message of the day.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Temperatures will trend warmer into Thursday, then cooler behind your front into the start of the weekend. Today, they'll high near 60 with sunshine and a light breeze in from the south and southeast. Overnight, it will be partly cloudy as the low drops into the mid-30s. Tomorrow, clouds will increase with gusty winds at times out of the south at a high of 64. Rain moves in tomorrow night ahead of a front with a low in the mid-40s. That shower activity will taper off towards the afternoon on Friday with a high close to 56. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Renewal by Andersen of the Carolinas.
Renewal by Andersen's here.
Kickstart the new year with this incredible deal. Buy one window or door and get the second for 40% off. Act now to schedule your free, no-obligation in-home consultation with my team at freewindowassessment.com. That's freewindowassessment.com.
Are you a business owner, CEO, or responsible for marketing? If you are, iHeartMedia can help you reach your goals and find new customers. We reach more consumers in your target area than anyone else, and we can give you access to those potential customers more cost-effectively across radio, digital, podcasting, and social. We'd love to show you how iHeartMedia can work for you. Get started today at iHeartAdvertising.com. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
The madness begins in Asheville. Make sure you're at the Harris Cherokee Center, Asheville, March 7th through 11th for the 2024 Ingalls SoCon Basketball Championships. Experience fun for the whole family as your favorite SoCon teams compete for a championship and a berth in the NCAA tournaments. Book your travel and tickets by logging on to SoConHoops.com or by contacting the Harris Cherokee Center, Asheville box office. Get your tickets today.
Get ready for our 2024 iHeart Podcast Awards, presented by The Hartford, live at South by Southwest.
Celebrating the best of the best. And the winner is?
Watch live Monday, March 11th on iHeartRadio's YouTube channel and listen on iHeartRadio stations across America.
Audible is a proud sponsor of the Social Impact Award. Discover the best selection of audiobooks anywhere, plus binge-worthy podcasts and exclusive Audible originals. There's more to imagine when you listen. Try Audible for free when you sign up at audible.com.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
At Ingalls, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingalls, low prices, love the savings.
The best season of the year is here.
Tailgate season.
Monster Brewing presents this season's MVP.
The Beast Unleashed.
With 4 bold, familiar flavors.
With 0 caffeine and 0 sugar.
Beast Unleashed is your new pregame ritual.
With White Haze, Mean Green, Peach Perfect, and Scary Berries, there's a flavor for every fan.
The Beast
Unleashed.
6% alcohol by volume. Unleashed responsibly. Must be 21 or over. Beast Unleashed available at your local retailer. It is ESPN Asheville. This is the Sportsocracy, and it is time for the most important message of the day.
Don't do crimes.
Heading up north, I feel like day by day we're living in more and more of a lawless society.
Well, I mean, that's what happens when you have DAs that go, you don't do that again.
Exactly.
No.
You get on social media and you see all of these tic-tacs and things that are showing you people just walking out of stores and groups of people just bum rushing stores and leaving with whatever they want. And so I believe this creates a lot of copycat crime.
This is why we should make Jeremy president for 7 days.
And shoplifting is one of the dumber things that I think I see examples of people doing crimes. Because how do you think you're going to get away with it, first? And second off, why was it necessary for you to steal those particular items? Here's a story out of New York, out of Suffolk County, New York, where a trio of bad doers are wanted because they were captured on surveillance footage the other day robbing a 7-Eleven store of its ice cream. They went in and just went, I need all the Haagen-Dazs in the world, because apparently they were doing crimes, because that's the only time you go, hey, I need some Haagen-Dazs this bad.
It sounds that way.
End of the story, they allegedly stole more than $600 of Haagen-Dazs ice cream from the 7-Eleven, which means they got away with 6 pints.
No doubt.
In the state of New York, because we all know things cost more there. And have you ever tried to buy Ice cream at a gas station?
Super expensive.
It's about $50 an ounce.
I thought you were going to tell. I saw a story earlier about a group that stole $900 worth of Legos.
Nope, I didn't see that story, but I did see this story from Blair County, Pennsylvania, where a guy walked out of a Walmart with over $1,100 worth of bacon and shotgun shells.
You know what? And my punishment for all three of these would be the same, and it would guarantee that you never did it again.
What's that?
Prison wallet. Every last one of them.
It's just, what, make them hide it there?
Yep.
Yikes.
Bingo.
Jeremy's talking crimes.
God, you did crimes.
But that's more crimes. I don't think we punish crimes with more crimes.
It would limit the crimes.
That's against the Geneva Convention. I don't even know what's in it, but I'm sure that Geneva's not happy.
Well, you know what? I don't think Geneva's loving what's happening right now anyway. So maybe Geneva's looking, just going, I don't see squat. Let's let that mullet have a try at it.
That's cruel and unusual punishment right there. Although, I will never steal anything if that is the punishment.
Stop thieving. You don't thieve things, and nothing bad can happen.
Keep stealing stuff. You can cram it up your cram hole, LaFleur.
Bingo. If you got to cram it in your cram hole, that makes you not want to steal it anymore.
No more crimes.
Boom. Jeremy president for a month. I'm just telling you, I can turn this around.
Mullet 2024.
My story is from Boston.
Uh-huh.
It was a flight coming in from Paris, France. It was Delta Flight 225. U.S. Customs and Border Protection agents, they had a dog. His name was Buddy. He's a CBP canine. And he saw a piece of luggage, and he thought it smelled a little suspicious. So he clued on the bag. When the canine dog clues on the bag, what do you do? Open the bag. Because there's probably something in there that's a little weird.
Yep.
And they were right. Had some dried fish, which that was weird. Also had something else that was dried. It was a dehydrated monkey body. There were 4 of them. I can't figure out why you would do this, but that is actually indeed against the Geneva Convention because they could have Ebola. So you can't bring monkeys, even in dehydrated form, from one country to another. So the person who owned this bag was taken into police custody. Never said what they had this for. And I, for the life of me, can't figure out why you would have this. Unless you were doing, like, Ouija board stuff.
Yes. Could be. It could be holistic medicine. Right? We use all manner of things, ground up rhino horns and all that stuff can be used to help your virility as a man, or who knows what this stuff can be used for.
And here's the thing.
It's terrifying that there are people with, dried monkey carcasses in their suitcases.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. If you're trying to summon the devil, you should probably call Aaron Rodgers or my ex-wife. Don't dehydrate monkeys. It's not good.
What would ever possess you to do that?
Marry a woman that could summon? I don't know. I was in my late 20s. It was a bad call. She had a tattoo of a dagger. She had another one of flowers on one arm.
Stop trying to travel with weird things. And by the way, these dogs, is that a scent that they're trained to pick up on? Is dead monkey carcasses? I don't know. Is it? I mean, I guess a cadaver might have the same scent of every other animal or species or whatever. So I guess if you're looking for dead body parts,
well, I mean, it's a dead dehydrated varmint. So I'm gonna say it's probably a little gamey.
Is it a varmint? That's not a varmint. That's a primate.
They're all varmints. Anything that's smaller than me that could bite me, varmint. I think that's the dictionary term.
I'd probably so.
Merriam-Webster.
If it's big enough to bite, it's a varmint.
Call me, bro. I need to know what the definition of a varmint is. What's a varmint? What's a critter? And what's a miscreant?
A miscreant?
A miscreant.
That's not an animal. That is just somebody who does bad things. It's like the people who stole the ice cream from their miscreants.
Oh, so
you're thinking of muskrat.
Muskrat.
Yeah.
That
is an animal.
See, here's the thing, Tank. I think I'm not 100% sure I'm here right now. Because the last about hour, I've started to feel progressively worse and worse and worse. And I think I may have actually died in the first segment of this hour. So there's that.
Muskrat, Muskrat. Candlelight. It's the greatest song ever written.
Muskrat Love.
Exactly. Let's talk running backs. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, let's get Flostradamus's running back ranking for the 2024 NFL Draft. The Combine is coming up in just a week, and we will be there live in Indianapolis covering it just for you.
And this is a series of firsts for us this year. I went to the Senior Bowl. This year we're going to the Combine. And if you give it just a few weeks, there will be the biggest first of all. The first actually legal sports wager in the state of North Carolina, because it's coming and there's only one partner that you need, and that's DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, and it's coming to North Carolina on March 11th. Whether you like same-game parlays, money lines, props, if you want to take the props from the Super Bowl, you just saw the last Super Bowl that you're not going to be able to do those things because DraftKings and sports betting are coming to North Carolina with their odds boost, live betting, and social betting groups. If you got people like me and you want to know exactly what they have monies on, you can do that with DraftKings Sportsbook. New customers download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Bet on all your favorite sports once we go live, only on DraftKings Sportsbook. Coming to North Carolina on March 11th. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only. Eligibility restrictions apply. Subject to regulatory licensing requirements. See terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook/NC.
Line of basketball.
2-on-1. Baycott finishes the transition hammer.
R.J. Davis. Oh, he's going to try a quick three.
Yes, from the right sideline.
On the Tar Heels Sports Network.
Ends up to Baycott, and he gets the run out. Two-handed flush.
Carolina, it's Davis. He's fouled, and give him it.
This is your radio home for the Tar Heels.
Asheville's home for the Tar Heels is ESPN Asheville.
What's better than winning a prize on a Multiply the Cash scratch-off?
Oh, hello? Well, I guess I'd say probably...
Winning every single prize. What's better than winning every single prize?
I can't think
Winning every prize times 2 with the Win-All Doubler.
Well, you don't need me here, so I'm going to go pick up a scratch-off.
New Multiply the Cash from the North Carolina Education Lottery with a chance to win every prize doubled. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.77 to 4.71. Problem gambling helpline. 877-718-5543.
Over 50,000 police officers are assaulted each year. Help police by not escalating. Address any complaints after the encounter. Comply now, complain later. Keep everybody safe. This message brought to you by the National Police Association. Learn more at nationalpolice.org.
Start your spring cleaning today and get an insanely clean home with Zero-Res Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning. For this month only, mention ESPN Asheville and you'll get 3 rooms of carpet clean for $129 plus a free staircase. Book online at ZeroResAsheville.com.
I'm Julian Edelman from Games with Names, and we're on a search to find the greatest games of all time with the players and coaches who lived in them. Ever wonder what a locker room feels like at a halftime of a Super Bowl? Or what about the after parties? We're going to dive deep into the most iconic games with the most iconic people. New episodes dropping weekly. Listen to Games with Names on the iHeart Radio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. And did I mention that Clarissa Sells WNC loves teachers? We love teachers so much, we're giving back 25% of our commission at closing. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
We're back counting down to kickoff. Let's look at today's 3 keys to premium pre-gaming with Beast Unleashed, presented by Monster Brewing. Number 1, beat the heat.
Unleash the beast with bold, familiar flavors, 0 caffeine, and 0 sugar.
Number 2, running the option.
There's 4 to choose from: White Haze, Peach Perfect, Scary Berries, and my personal favorite, Mean Green.
And number 3, at 6% ABV, Max Protect.
Always drink responsibly, and you must be 21 or over.
Beast Unleashed, available at your local retailer.
The Ingles 2024 Southern Conference Downtown Dribble and Kids Fest, presented by Champion Credit Union, will be held Saturday, March 9th, 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. at the Roger McGuire Greene at Pack Square Park. The Downtown Dribble will feature interactive games, inflatables, pep bands, cheerleaders, and a parade. Each participant will receive a basketball, Downtown Dribble t-shirt, and a ticket to the noon session quarterfinal basketball games. Check-in will begin at 9:30 a.m. at Roger McGuire Greene. To register, visit downtowndribble.eventbrite.com.
The Sportsocracy.
Pull up your pants, take off the bra, and be a man!
Back in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, the 2024 NFL Draft. Well, it's still a ways away, but we've got all the rankings to do. We've got pre-combine rankings and mock drafts and all of the things, and we will be live next week in Indianapolis, Indiana, for the NFL Combine. So excited. So much more excited about this Draftmas season than I was, a week ago. Now that I know we're going to be on the ground for the Underwear Olympics. It's going to be a very cool week. Glad that we can experience it with you here in the Sportsocracy. 2024 running backs. There's not a first-round talent.
There's not a second-round talent.
There's not a really?
Mm-mm. Huh. Jonathan Brooks was the only one that I felt good about putting in the second round, and then he blew out his knee.
Not your boy Trey.
I don't have him in the second round. He may go there. I don't have him rated there. Look, I push running backs down anyway.
Yes.
I would not feel comfortable taking a running back until the third round. Now, Trey is my number 1 running back. That's Trey Benson out of Florida State.
Mm-hmm.
Ideal size, really good pass catcher. To me, Trey Benson can do practically anything you ask. All of these guys, to me, I'm really curious how fast you run. I am more excited to see the running back group in Indianapolis than I am any other group.
Because of the speed is going to determine where they go?
Not necessarily that. I want to see who distances themselves. I mean, you can see, I sent you my rankings. That's every draftable player I have offensively. You can see how many running backs there are, and it's quite a number.
Yes, there are quite a few.
But I'm looking at guys like Will Shipley. All right, there was a time that we thought he was going to be a pretty high draft pick.
Mm-hmm.
Not now, because he was not good last year, and he just never seemed to improve. But was that Dabo Swinney? Was that constantly changing offensive scheme? What was it? And I feel like the Combine, you get the chance to ask those questions, and then we get to see you in just, as you called it, the Underwear Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that way about a lot of these guys.
Will Shipley never did anything in college to really stand out as an elite running back on the national scale.
I don't know that I agree with that.
Really?
He had bursts where I looked at him and went, that's a guy that can play in the NFL. But he never got better. And that's where I'm looking at Trey Benson and Jonathan Brooks. You're my 1-2, and there's not a 3. I'm curious to see if anybody can take that mantle because there's so many behind him. Blake Corum's my 3. I don't love him, and I never have. I heard a lot of people talk about him last year. He'd be a first-round pick if he came out. No, he wouldn't.
Too small?
It's not just that. It's just what exactly is it you do? I don't see an upside with you. You scored a lot of touchdowns behind one of the best offensive lines in the country.
Mm-hmm. He's a guy that finds the gaps. He's got breakaway speed.
And that's all well and good. I think every guy on this list that's in front of you would be able to do the same thing.
Okay. He's got good hands.
good, not great. Yes.
Mm-hmm. But he's one that I could definitely see his former coach having an interest.
We do that, I feel like, and I feel like we're going to do that with every Michigan Wolverine, and it's just, the Chargers will be interested. I don't know that that's the one I would want. If I'm the Chargers, I'm looking at Braylon Allen or Marshawn Lloyd or Bucky Irving. That's what I'm after. And look, I have Corum ahead of all of them because he's good at everything, but he's a jack of all trade, master of none.
Mm-hmm.
That's where this gets to, is that I feel like every other running back beneath him, you do one thing really, really well, and I'm not sure you do anything else even serviceably well. That's why my four is Kamani Vidal. I saw enough of him in Mobile to go, I don't know what it is you do, but I like all of it. I want all of it to play for my football team.
He's not one that I've seen getting any kind of hype yet, except from you.
That might be why I've trended on in the state of Alabama 2 times.
Oh, good.
Because Troy's official athletics page keeps sharing things that I put out because I love him and I love Javon Solomon. 2 guys that we're going to try to get interviews with while we're in Indy. No big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Got a lot of new friends to talk to.
What makes Kamani special?
Oh, well, I mean, I put you up against the best of the best in the Senior Bowl, and you made many of them look absolutely silly. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I was breaking down pillar-to-post Sunbelt tape throughout the entire year. I've gotten to some of it now, and I like what I've seen of him on tape. I saw it in front of my own eyes. I saw what you can do with a football in your hand. It's close enough that I could reach out and touch you.
Mm-hmm. You've got Kamani Vidal at 4.
Yes.
Marshawn Lloyd.
Marshawn Lynch would probably be higher than 5.
Marshawn Lloyd is at 5, the running back out of USC, and that won't be the last time I do that. I feel pretty certain.
Yeah, it's a great chance of that. Lloyd started at South Carolina. I think he's a really good pass catcher. I'm more curious of what else he can do. He's a bowling ball. We have a bunch of those in this class. Short, squatty, stalky guys.
Mm-hmm.
It just so happens that, to me, he's my favorite of the bunch. Unless you consider Trey Benson one of those, in which case, then, yes, he's
I don't know that I would consider him to be a bowling ball.
He's not. He's just real, real, real good.
Yes. After him, Amani Bailey from TCU.
I liked him a lot in the game. He was the biggest riser from the game.
In the Senior Bowl.
Yes. Because it was like every time I turned around, he was getting another touch. And it was solely because the team he was on, they figured out, our quarterbacks are awful. This is the best player we have. This is the only shot we have of keeping this game competitive. And he did quite a nice job of it, in spite of the fact that it took about 8 plays before they went, that's all they got. It's just him, purple helmet, kill. Couldn't do it.
Yeah. I like the size and the physical tools of Braylon Allen.
Yeah, Braylon Allen's one of those, I call that hotel lobby player. If you saw him in the hotel lobby, you'd go, that dude right there is a football player. Then you see him on a field and go, hey, what happened to that big, gigantic dude I saw in the lobby? Because this dude runs timid, and I don't know why. I want to love him. I really do.
You just wish he was more physical.
I do. Use your natural skills.
Mm-hmm. Use your size to your advantage.
And now it could be he was just very strangely placed with, the upheaval at Wisconsin. Right. He had a lot of
Luke Fickell coming in.
Well, he just had a lot of up in the air that you're not used to at Wisconsin, and I think he might have been a victim of that. He could go to an NFL team, and 3 years from now we just go, how is that not everybody's 2 or 3 overall? Well, because the college tape was not very good.
Will Shipley after Braylon Allen.
Yes.
And then you've got Audric Estime here. He's one that I look at and I go, that guy to me looks like he could be a pro back and a pretty good one. Yeah. Especially short yardage situations.
But that's the thing, is I think he's almost a glorified fullback. I compared him to Natron Means in a video that we did earlier in the last couple weeks because that's who he reminds me of. In short yardage, short burst, I think he's fantastic. My question is, what else can you do? Because I don't think he's going to run particularly fast. I don't think he's got top-end speed. So there's definitely a role for that. I just don't know that he can get any higher than that. I think there's a great chance he ends up lower than I have him right now, because I'm pretty confident I'm going to walk away liking Bucky Irving better than I do right now. Mm-hmm. Ray Davis was spectacular in Mobile, and Dylan Lobby, I've already told you, he's one of my favorites in this entire class.
Mm-hmm. And then from there,
another one we plan on talking to whilst we are in Indiana.
I was going to say, and then from there you got, 10 other running backs that are draft eligible to you, draft worthy.
There are a lot of draftable running backs.
And Dylan Lobby is a 4th-round pick?
4 to 5, somewhere in there. Rasheen Ali, that's kind of a line of demarcation. He was super good until he got hurt. And I think he tore his bicep or something like that. And that was the end of the week for him.
Mm-hmm.
After that, but you basically get into I'm going to take a 7th-round flyer on a guy.
No, and one name, Frank Gore Jr.
Yes.
And then the 2 national champions from Georgia, Dejan Edwards, Kendall Milton. Anybody else in that class, in that group, you want to highlight before we get out of here?
Cody Schrader. I wanted him to do more in Mobile than he did. But then you go back and watch the tape and go, man, you cut teams apart in the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know how you don't have a role. I just really wish you had shown me something. So I hope he runs fast or does something in Indianapolis that we can cling on to.
A lot of Missouri success leaned on him.
Mm-hmm.
He was phenomenal. We'll see if he can take it to the next level, at the next level. You're in the Sportsocracy, the ESPN Asheville. Back with you tomorrow at noon. We'll see you then.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Temperatures will trend warmer into Thursday, then cooler behind your front end at the start of the weekend. Today, they'll high near 60 with sunshine and a light breeze in from the south and southeast. Overnight, it will be partly cloudy as the low drops into the mid-30s. Tomorrow, clouds will increase with gusty winds at times out of the south and a high of 64. Rain moves in tomorrow night ahead of a front with a low in the mid-40s. That shower activity will taper off towards the afternoon on Friday with a high close to 56. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel.
Big news. DraftKings Sportsbook, one of America's top-rated sportsbook apps, is coming soon to North Carolina on March 11th. It won't be long until you can bet on same-game parlays, money lines, and props right here in North Carolina with DraftKings. DraftKings Sportsbook has the best features, including odds boost and live betting. They also have social betting groups where you can share your bets with friends in real time. You can bet on all kinds of sports, including college basketball, hockey, and so much more. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable, and best of all, you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. New customers, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and bet on all your favorite sports once we go live. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook, coming to North Carolina on March 11th. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only. Eligibility restrictions apply. Subject to regulatory licensing requirements. See terms at DraftKings.com.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.